There you are.
What's that?
Yeah, there you are. Oh, jeez.
Sorry,
Damn, we're live. Let me see if I'm in focus. I don't even know if I'm in focus. Jeez. The thing 10 minutes ago, I was asleep. Oh, already forgot my glasses.
Oh, really? That's a nice
Dude,
wake-up call.
I'm so sorry. That is so ridiculous. I'm so sorry.
Dude, you never have to apologize to me. I was just getting a daily ego boost from Reddit. That's all.
Oh. Oh, people loving you for you. So one person said one nice thing about you?
No, nobody said anything nice at all. It was amazing.
I need to get my other glasses. If I can call my wife during it. Oh, good. So Greg forgot it was at 6 too. Yes. Oh, did we not send him a link?
Yeah, I didn't send him a link.
Oh shit! What a shit show.
Sorry.
Hello, user Kaylee. Leave a message. Thanks.
I didn't want to jump the gun on you and like make it feel like there was more pressure. The train was leaving the station, so I was just watching Pedro interview Daniel Chaffee.
Oh, he did that already?
This morning, 3 hours ago.
Oh my god, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I just started it.
Let me see if my wife can bring me different glasses. I love these glasses, but my when I wear the headphones with these glasses, my head starts to hurt. Greg, I'm so sorry, dude.
No, it's cool, man. What up?
I forgot that we were 6 a.m.
What has my camera so zoomed in?
That's what I was wondering. I was like, why does it move with you?
Is that Google fucking thing?
Let me see. Do you see that green camera on the very top?
I do.
If you click on that, there's some options. I don't know if it's in there.
You want to run a Google search?
Center stage portrait. Is that what's
maybe
going on?
Is that
taking over?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get it off? I've never picked it.
I know it's
and I have to use Chrome to run your Gizmo.
Yeah. I know. Last week I saw that too, and I was like, did that just turn on? I've seen that with a few of the guests I've had too.
It's the center stage. It's a feature that adjusts your front camera to keep you in frame while you move around. Oh. Did that work, Greg? Did you change it, or
I'm unchecking everything?
Yeah, there you go. I think that worked. I think that worked.
Dude, I hate that.
I was wondering. I was watching the show last week, and it was like moving with you and like pulling in and out, and I was like, "What in the world?"
At my age, that gives me vertigo. What's going on here? And I think the quality's less too. I think it does it by like cropping you and then working with the crop or something.
The lower the tech, the solution, the least apps, the least involvement, the happier I am.
We get a Matt for the next 2 weeks. That's awesome. He got a little schedule change at the gym, so and since we're doing it 6, he can now come on. I know. I'm stoked.
Yeah, and 6 a.m. helps a lot.
I'm stoked. We used to do so many shows together, and now I feel like it's like once a month. Hey, Greg, I'm coming out, by the way.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I just can't. I guess I'm saying it so I'll believe it. I always get. I'm like a little kid. I get so excited I can't believe it. I'm actually doing something, getting out of my loop. I think we're coming out on the 3rd. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
March 3rd? Yeah. Okay. That's good, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Good. I needed reassurance. Thank you. What are you up to? I was zero prepared, although I've been watching lots of Fox News.
I got a lot going on, but it's all fun stuff. I've got a dinner planned with the designer.
Oh, at the house.
It's going to be fun because she's a trip and a half. And I'm going to go get my bus.
Like she's legitimately weird, like cool weird, like designers should be weird, or
great, cool weird.
Yeah.
Has saved our architect's ass repeatedly and brilliantly.
What does she decide? Like doorknobs and like what's a design? What's a designer do?
Well, I mean,
Colors?
all that stuff. The color and texture, the paint. I mean, everything. But Caroline's involvement has extended into architectural elements that you wouldn't even think that aren't traditionally consistent with interior design. For instance,
Oh, he's been building a house a long time when he uses ID or
The vernacular sound.
The acronyms. Yeah.
She asked of a kind of a fire escape stairwell thing down the kids' end of the house if it was our contribution to teen pregnancy or a donation to the local kidnappers. And we're like, yeah, pull that fucking thing off. How's that for?
She's like, you built them at escape hatch. You know that, right?
How old is she? She sounds smart.
She's brilliant. She's a mid-40s.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's always that. It's always like that. She's got a question for you. It's great.
Like clever shit like that. Yeah, that's good.
Was she the one that hit the pull-up bars too? That made that work in the interior?
The colors. Yeah, it was particular on them. And the climbing holds, which is great because I'm like, yeah, why hot pink too?
Hey, Greg, there's this guy, really cool guy. His name is Seth, and he's out of Hawaii. I want to say he owns like 4 or 5 gyms. Used to be an undercover cop. Really cool dude, and a real CrossFit geek, Greg Glassman geek. And him and Souza are doing a show about the history of the Open in a couple days. Like they're just going to sit down and talk about it. And as I remember, the Open was kind of crazy. I remember you wanted to, when you created the Open, like we all hated you at HQ and ended up like being like great. Like everyone's like, no. Because what did we do? We thought it would ruin it by not we had sectionals or something. Can you tell the whole story?
Yeah.
Because I thought Souza would love that. And Souza, feel free to ask any question once he gets going.
Okay.
They had
notepad
had a plan where these sectionals became regionals, became finals.
You remember the year? 9, 8, 10?
It was
before Madison, or?
Oh yeah, long before.
Sorry, not Madison. Sorry, Carson. Was it the first year we went to Carson?
I think it was before Carson, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think sectionals might have been 2010 in possibly 11, and I think the Open first year was 2011.
Okay,
if I recall.
Anyways, the qualification for regionals was being had at local gyms, and the growth rate of new gyms was going to be that soon we were covering them and we were giving them media and all, but we were going to have thousands of these things in no time. It was an impossible thing. And the numbers of the Open to 300,000 prove it. We weren't going to, at a remove, provide media for 15,000 locations or whatever it was going to turn out to be. It was a mathematical thing. You could look at it on paper and see. You could graph the last 5 years and look down the road and see what the explosion was. And no one had much interest in that. So I was like, let's do it online. And that was perceived impossible because of cheating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Brazilians.
And I'm like, but what is it? Like, what's that by you? Okay, so you cheat. Now you get in front of us all. Then what?
Yeah, you look like an idiot.
Listen. Go ahead and make a clip about me saying the Brazilians are cheats. It's okay.
That was insisted on us. I mean, Cardinho told us that he says the Latin Americans cheat. All Central and South America, we all cheat. And you can't say that. He goes, I'm saying it. And I go, well, but it's not true. He goes, well, you'll learn that painful lesson. I mean, that's just how that is. I go, fuck, okay. It's like, who else wants to say something? He was great. He was hilarious.
And what was your response?
That wasn't in regard to the Open, was it?
I don't know. I can't remember exactly. But what was your response to that? So there was what about the technical hurdle? I mean, people don't realize it was 2000, whatever it was. It was earlier. What was your response to like, hey, do we have the IT for people to sign up online? Do we have I mean, we didn't have the infrastructure for that. How are we going to make sure people weren't
cheating? I wasn't really worried about that. We didn't really have a hand to play. The growth was such that we're going to do this online. We did.
Yeah. And
I think it did marvelously well. And I think the other remodel of the games was kind of the highlight of things, 2019.
Right.
I also find it more than a little bit amusing, if not just outright funny, that pre-era of feigned diversity, equity, and inclusiveness, before all that bullshit, we ran a CrossFit Games that had more blacks than you're going to see at it for probably another 50 years.
Yeah, there were 100% more blacks, more Asians, more gays, more of everything at the 2019 than all the other games combined. I promise.
And what was the goal? It was to have the entire world represented.
Yeah, with no interest in with no interest in diversity other than by global
representation.
Yeah, global representation. Hey,
what was so cool, Matt, is it didn't change who was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
There was had no impact on that. So let's make sure someone from Italy's fucking here, someone from Australia's here, someone from Kenya and Mozambique and Sudan. Let's make sure they're here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they were. And that was cool. That was the best games, I thought.
Yeah, in hindsight, I think everyone thinks that. I think I've spoken with Dave since then, and it was just like the Open. Everyone had pushback, and then when you did it, it was actually brilliant. And then, of course, those fucking idiots who closed down the planet for COVID derailed it. Yeah, it was good. Think about the irony is too is the athletes are always want bigger. Think of how much bigger and how many more bigger really just means more eyeballs and more money, right?
Here's what I wanted, Matt. We were already in the Open doing the work of deciding who the fittest man in the world is. So that was kind of a secret, right? You saw after the Open who that was,
Mm-hmm.
In fact, one year the women in the Open placed 1 through 10, just as they did at the games. Same ranking. And so the Open placement is perfectly, wonderfully predictive of the final outcome. What this means is we know who the fittest man in Italy is: Peru, Argentina, Israel, South Korea. And so you've done the work to not put the crown on their fucking head figuratively and send them a $3 trophy and allow that to develop into a local market that looks like Foster's recognizing the fittest Australian and Havaiana recognizing the fittest Brazilian was an amazing just an amazing move of stupidity. That thing was there, and I was talking about it. I was bragging about it. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have Vespa sponsor one of the fucking Italians.
Yep.
Do you want to hear something really interesting too? So there were 200
country champions, just like that, out of thin air.
Do you remember how many athletes were there, Greg?
I don't know, but that was the coolest CrossFit event I've been to that had anything to do with the games. CrossFit Games event.
So let's say that
the international athletes dinner.
Let's say there were 200 athletes there. Guess which two people didn't like it out of the 200?
The Canadians?
Yep.
No shit.
Brent and Pat. Yes. 100,
of course they did.
200 athletes there. 189 thought it was the greatest games ever, and 11 thought it was shitty, and 2 of them were Brent and Pat.
Yeah, and 2 of them wanted a union.
Yeah. And hey, you know what happened is as people got cut, they got invited to parties. Like at the top of the Edgewater and shit like that. It was cool. It was yeah, that was amazing. That was they really need if they can afford to, they need to go back to that, or if they can figure it out, they have to go back to that. That
148 men and 134 women had qualified, and then 143 men and 117 women turned up at the games. But to Greg's point,
so 300 athletes.
Yeah, individuals.
Matt, it was 45 minutes of like unintended. It was supposed to be just like, hey, salute and walk past. But I was there 45 minutes of say it again, where, and they'd show me the flag. And that's when I got a Reebok's ass because I said, I can't even fucking believe you didn't have the country put on the people's shirt.
Mm.
You know, just their names, and like didn't tell me stuff. And then they gave me, and then I saw them standing there with their flag, and no one that worked for me knew what the fuck that was. Some guy standing there with a flag with 2 elephants and an ostrich on it with a big smile, and we're like, wow, hi.
Hey, you know what else was cool too? It was the exact opposite of the entitlement we see. Some of the entitlement we see today. The athletes were so appreciative. The South American athletes were so appreciative. The African athletes were so appreciative. You know, the small European countries, and some countries didn't even send people. Couldn't even send people. Like Armenia couldn't even send anyone. I don't think they had a CrossFit gym. That was the requirement. You had to have one affiliate, I think, in the country.
So there were a handful of affiliates there, right?
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. I mean, it was crazy. It was so good.
You're just the fittest dude at that
good.
affiliate.
One of them was a soccer legend, a football legend. There was and he was super excited. And he fell early in the mass elimination round, but was proud to be there. I'll tell you this, the athletes that made it to the international dinner, none of them were still eligible. The games was just kicking off, and they had all been eliminated, right?
Yeah.
And we had a dinner for them, and that was there were better spirits there than anything I've been to anywhere near the winner's circle, including the athletes' dinners before, after, during the event.
At the rooftop of the Edgewater. That was cool. I remember that.
This crowd was getting more out of the entire experience than the rest were.
The whole thing, people with hijabs and, all the colorful, weird outfits and like you felt like you were at a meeting at the UN. It was awesome, dude. All the different facial structures. It was cool.
That open ceremony, I remember thinking when you saw everybody in white and all the flags and they like marched them out, I was like, the evolution of this is going to be interesting. Because to your point, Greg, like if I'm in the middle of nowhere and I make it to this big stage, all of a sudden people in my country, in my hometown, like depending on where you are, that's a really big deal. And so you could end up getting a lot of local sponsorship just to get you out there for representation. Hey, you're the fittest in Italy. Vespa's going to pay your way, and you'll probably fly out there nicer and have a better arrangement than the person who wins the games.
That's right. Matt, the fittest man in Peru doesn't mean shit to us because we don't live in Peru. But if you live in Peru, it does.
Yeah, that was genius. And what you're doing is you're bringing together a global, I don't think there's ever been global representation around one singular fitness thing. And to your point, like the Woodstock of the fitness, that was moving way more towards that with global representation than just celebrating the top 10 fittest people in our community.
Ryan Kendall, those athletes appreciated being there. Yeah, they crazy did. It was pretty. I forgot all about how they were stoked. Smiles, like the kind of smiles like you get when you take mushrooms. Yeah.
There was you're trying to figure out where these kids are from, right? What country again? Say it again. You feel bad about that. And all they want's a picture taken and these huge smiles. It was cute. Really, really touching.
Brilliant from the business standpoint, completely useless from the spectator aspect. I was laughing at the first event. From the community aspect, it was absolutely great. And I don't know why you don't think it was good from the spectator. There were spectators, probably more spectators who watched it online that year than any other year because it was international. It makes everyone happy. It makes the athletes, and it makes the athletes exceedingly happy because all they want is more money and more eyeballs so that they can work out more thrusters. Thank you for the glasses.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sympathetic to that.
To what?
And I'll tell you where that sympathy comes from.
To what? To the bad spectator experience?
Yes.
Okay.
They never played the role they'd hoped to play in my thing. And I'm going to tell you the same thing about the Super Bowl. The fuck given about the people watching on TV is 4 billion times the fuck given about the people sitting there in their fucking fiberglass fucking cold seat.
Yeah,
Mm.
yes, exactly.
I've watched it on TV and I've been there and I know the difference.
Yep.
And the TV experience is designed to make you feel at home, and the live experience is designed so if you say something out of line, you catch a wooden baton in the mouth. And so the spectators, God bless the spectators, but fuck them too. The experience was what happened during the open and kind of in the final moment, and the people that got there early to see everything weren't given to the community what you might have thought.
I also like the mass participation in that first one, and then just a mass elimination.
I mean, you'll never see this again. Look at these flags. The graphics team must have been shitting their pants. Look at all these flags, dude. That's Heat 1.
That's amazing, though.
You know what else we did that year is we let real media come.
Mm.
And that wasn't internally received with universal applause, but it was the right direction to go.
Someone wrote here in the comments, this is funny. Watching Ben Smith just wade through the mass of humanity that was the first heat was awesome. Dude just smashed everyone. And then look at it's all these names I can't say. And then like on sheet 2, you can Ben Smith, number 14. Look at him.
The only name good old Smith in there. Just give me a Smith I can pronounce.
He's stuck between Edmund Tan and Shakir Aluni. That's good. Yeah, these flags are wild.
Well, it's crazy because when you compare it to an Olympic stage, I was friends with a guy that made it to the Olympics for weightlifting, and the amount of work that they do to get themselves there is easily comparable to anything with the CrossFit Games. But the reward on the other side, and how much money he had to raise to get himself there so he could compete to represent the U.S. to come back with virtually nothing in terms of a paycheck or monetary value, was insane. But it didn't matter because he just wanted to make it to the Olympics to say that he competed on the Olympic stage. And that's where I felt that this was going in 2019, even though there was a lot of people that weren't going to make it past that first one. It didn't matter.
Dude, look at the shades. Look at these people's skin color. It's funny. I never even noticed it when I was there. Look at, there's one white person in that heat, Ben Smith.
Man, you guys were blowing out the brown people representation way before that was a popular political agenda, huh?
God, it's crazy, dude. Look, 3 black dudes together. You'll never see that again at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, and you know what? The whole thing was designed by a racist on a cocktail napkin at a party.
We're going to punish these black folk and let them come to the games. I remember you saying that.
Let's make them all local heroes. That'll show them.
Yeah. I can't wait. Make the games extra hard, Dave, this year for the black guys.
How ridiculous. You know what? That was true of HQ. When I was sneaking my way into those DDCs, it was like a freaking textbook from a 90s school. I mean, you opened it up and you had a representation across the whole broad of community. And it wasn't like that. You weren't hiring based off that whatsoever. It was all merit-based. Do you really understand the mission and the vision? And are you truly passionate about it so you could work independently? And that brought that collection of individuals.
And there were no chumps there, even though these guys were from smaller countries. Like there were no chumps there. They just happened to be. It was just a huge field.
We saw it all, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
I settled lesbian wars like without the world noticing.
What do you mean? Just because there were so many lesbians in the women?
One go down.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like there's always one.
All right, fine. You guys each get a Subaru, and I don't want to hear another word out of you.
Dale King, designed by racist on a cocktail napkin. That's the tagline. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey,
I wanted the whole world there.
And it worked.
Everyone in the world could be interested there. There's someone from your country has a shot at this thing. I also hope that someone from some country whose flag we didn't recognize made it further than anyone could hope. And there's an inevitability to that too. You keep doing this. You play on this stage, you dance on this stage long enough, and it's going to happen to you. Someone from where the fuck is going to run and take the whole thing. You'll see them in the open too, though. And that's what this is. Maximize the open. What should happen is the fittest man and woman from Norway should come to the games, where Norway's crowned them and they're already have a whatever fucking car Norway makes driving those around, right?
Right. 2025 CrossFit Games, everyone gets a free Trump hat.
And if I recall, that did wonders for Annie in Iceland, didn't it? I mean, when
I don't
she
know,
came
but
back,
you know what was cool is the rover people caught on, because I had used the example of, like I said, for instance, Range Rover should be interested because the CrossFit athlete is kind of like the Range Rover. They can do anything from luxury to off-road gnarly, right? I mean, if you had to have one car that's going to do it all, and you're pulling it out of a hopper, you don't know what the fuck it's going to have to do, you might pick a Range Rover, right? And it got the attention of Range Rover USA, and the gal that was head of that, the CEO of it, promoted that hard upstream, and it fell on what she thought were deaf ears, and she left and opened an affiliate.
wow, I think I remember that story. That's incredible.
Yeah, isn't that an amazing story?
Yeah.
But the analogy would be, I mean, that's what I would hope to be getting out of a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then with more countries, there were also, the things that came with it, more complaints and more like opinions and more. But it's like, whatever. If you have strong leadership, you just push through it. Do not give me a gun. I cannot bring a gun back to my country. I cannot compete in an event that requires gun shooting.
Good news, bud. You're in LA. Just walk over to the corner and sell it for double the price. Go take your Glock.
Yeah, that was a shame, and I'm guilty of not. I was unfortunately at that time I was a purist too. I was thinking, oh, it's gonna fuck. Should just be the best in the world. This should just be the best in the world, and that was flawed thinking. It's better to make sure you want to keep it as a community event as long as you can. And by community, I mean encompassing all the people who have bought into what CrossFit is and the cure for the world's most vexing problem. People who can go back and spread the word in their own countries. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I got this text the other day, Greg, from someone who's a Muslim who listens to the show. And they basically said, "Hey, Sevon, I really like your show, but the Muslim hating, like, I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, is getting a little out of control." And they tried to, and it was very nice. It was a very nice text. It was like, "Hey, I really like your show, but like all Muslims aren't like this." You know what I mean? And because the news cycle is now just filled with that shit.
Yeah.
And so I looked up what a Muslim is, and Google tells me a Muslim who is someone who practices Islam. And I know that you've gone overseas and hung out with a lot of and been to Muslim countries, and you've had some like wonderful experiences with the people. Do you have any thoughts on that? On what's going on there? Like, do you think it just comes down to like, hey, you just can't let in people? Like the thought is that, hey, someone comes to your country, they're coming to your country, and they have to assimilate to the culture. And what's happening in these European countries is they're just letting in too many Muslims at once. And so we're not able to dilute their culture and integrate them to the current cultures. But I was looking at a list of all the Muslim mayors, like in the UK, and it's crazy. It's like every major city in the UK. Let me see if I can find the list. I don't have it. But it's just wild. I don't see the list. Do you have any thoughts on that? On what's going on there, or on how to navigate that, so it's not just a giant swath of like, fuck you, like Muslim culture is bad, but versus like everything we're seeing in the media, it's wild.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to appreciate my take, but I'm not even a little bit religious.
Yeah.
And so I watch the interplay of religions, probably more like having a favorite football team than is the case for people who are religious.
That's
And
a lot healthier than the
so
people who
I have
just hate
favorite
religion.
teams, I have favorite religions.
Right.
And they tend to have no interest or participation in terror. And I think the number of Muslims that are engaged in terror is extraordinarily small.
The number of Muslims who engage in terror?
Yes.
You mean relative to the 1.5 billion that are on the planet?
What else, how else can I look at a people in such a large chunk when it's so much of humanity? So I expect that to be a weak filter to the people I don't like. I don't know if I can't associate them. I don't associate them with Islam directly.
But you can turn on the TV almost 300 days a year and find
a cop shooting an unarmed black man.
No, you cannot see that. But you can thank you though for offering that up as an option. 300 days a year you can turn on your TV and see a crowd of Muslims chanting death to Jews and death to Americans in their own countries. It's and what's crazy is I know we don't like to, people criticize me for speaking in absolutes, but I've never seen a group of Jews saying death to Islam. I've never seen a group of whites saying death to black. Like, no matter how bad the tension is between other groups or perceived tension, this group of people thinks it takes to the streets and says death to people. Not like, fuck you, whitey, you're oppressing us. It's like death to these motherfuckers. Like, and you can turn your TV on. I could find it on TV right now on one of the cable networks, probably in some country. They're burning the American flag in downtown Detroit, saying death to the Jews or death to America. My thought is that they're bringing them in just too fast. That was the problem. If you could just assimilate them slowly, you can slowly get them eating Big Macs and liking the fucking New York Giants. You know what I mean? But if you don't, they'll congregate in masses and they'll do more than make shish kebab.
There's a problem with a population that comes here not fond of our liberties or way of life.
Yeah.
A rapidly expanding population, somewhat unconcerned with constitutional rights.
There's a big distinction between like
that'd be a concern.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But with any group, not even just a Muslim group. And the reason why I made the joke about the unarmed person being shot there was because, to Greg's point, when you have 1.5 billion and you look at like small incidents, if that whole cohort of people were really that violent, we would see much more of an outbreak just with the numbers outside of the media.
Oh,
right?
You mean as opposed to 12 unarmed black men resisting arrest getting shot every year, we would see
300 million stops, they say, in the U.S., like whatever.
365 million stops. And you never see the black kid playing his trombone on the front lawn getting shot. It's always like some sort of like, oh shit, this guy's trying to get away.
And so if it were
look at the methods, fervor, and effectiveness with which Muslim leadership deals with heads Islamic people that are Muslim and heads of state.
Mm-hmm.
Look at their methods and their capacity for dealing with Islamic revolutionaries, jihadists. and I'll suggest
Wow.
Egypt, Turkey, Jordan, the Emirates.
Right.
Shitty place to be a terrorist.
Right.
Shit, Saudi Arabia, shitty place to be a terrorist.
Right.
And so it's not, and maybe it's not all a religious thing, but I kind of like their approach.
Chop your hands off and throw you over the wall.
If you think you're going to shoot up a public space, there's a high probability you're going to get intercepted. And
Like you mean like in Dubai, nothing bad's going to happen there. Those are the safest Muslims on the planet.
Those are safe places to hang out.
Like crazy safe. Like remember the guy told us
safe for Jews.
Yeah. The guy told Greg and I specifically, you could go down the street with $1 million in a wheelbarrow, leave it, go into a restaurant and eat. Not a single dollar will be taken. So you just leave it. And he said nothing. He said zero. He said there's nobody's going to do anything here.
That's crazy because here you just leave 10 cents in your cup holder, your window's broken, that's gone. and the dude's using your car to like take a shit, right? To prop himself up on the street with it.
Welcome to America.
Welcome
to Los Angeles.
Yeah, welcome to California.
Okay. All right.
In UAE, you litter and it's gonna come home to you. Go ahead and throw that candy bar wrapper over your shoulder and keep walking down the sidewalk.
So you do that on the freeway, the camera will see you and the cops will come to your house.
Yeah.
And you're not exaggerating.
No. It's a great place to mind your own business and do business. And they take half. And you're protected from anyone else that wants any.
Yeah.
And you think like, okay, well, geez, that's prohibitive. And yet what you see on the highway is huge signs from Oracle, from Sony, of Apple, of Intel, huge signs, Rolex, everybody's there. There's nothing prohibitive. It's the rule. It's take half. The crown takes half of whatever you're getting. And nothing else.
Messes.
There's no other taxes, no property, no fire insurance. You don't need anything.
Oh.
The crown's a partner. You could buy a watch at a Rolex shop and assign it to your hotel room. You tell them your room number and they know what hotel you're in. Remember that, Sevi?
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty cool, really.
Yeah.
Fuck with it. You're not getting out. You know what I mean? You live there now.
Yeah. And now that you think about it, I don't remember seeing even the construction sites were clean. I don't remember seeing one piece of litter. Whereas pretty much any even small size city in the United States, if you walk from point A to point B, you're going to see a bag of trash somewhere, a straw lid of a
And my point is not to suggest that living there is good, but I don't see it as a religion problem.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Can you think of any I'm trying to think of which Christian countries are where there's just anything even remotely like that.
That's a good point. Well, it was Hayek that said that though he's atheist, his values are Judeo-Christian. It's only Judeo-Christian countries that hold dear those things he considers most important.
It's interesting because I don't want to. I think it's something for me to be conscious of because I do see so much media now of groups of Muslims doing just crazy shit.
I want to mention this about people and kids, and it is if this relates at all, it makes it funny, but and maybe even funnier if it doesn't. But Pilot Mike's kids are really, really good kids. They just want to follow the rules. Their quality of obedience and behavior. They don't wreck their toys. They get up and make their own lunches and write their names on the bags and get ready to get in the car to go to school before anyone's out of bed, right? Before the adults are out of bed. And they're this way little. I mean, just one of the girls is always asking, what are the rules? What's the... Dad showed me at the airport there was some kind of regulations about parking the plane. He's, look, the rules. And she runs over and looks. And straight A students, great athletes. They're just wonderful children. And he's always talking about this show, Bluey. And he says, Bluey's great. They all love Bluey. And so I'm like, really, what's the deal? And he says, well, there's a challenging predicament, and it's always resolved a little bit by surprise, favorably by some character doing the right thing, you know? And the kids love it. And I go, oh, that's fucking great. So I put Bluey on for my kids.
Is this it? Australian show?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I put Bluey on for my pack, across a pretty good age range, and mostly girls, but whatever. And it's like trying to get the cat to watch TV or something. I mean, they don't give two fucks about Bluey. I can't get them to even for a second to do any Bluey.
I'm gonna try Bluey today.
You know what else I'm thinking? Like, you know, what I wanted was my kids to be more like Mike's. But I think kids that are like mine won't like Bluey, and kids like Mike's like Bluey. And I think they'd be good kids whether there was Bluey or not. And I think my kids are going to be my kids, and Bluey isn't going to help. Does this make sense, Mr. Sousa?
Yes, it does. That's hilarious. It's innately the way they are.
So check it out. If your kids like Bluey, I don't think you've got any problems. My kids, they were literally like, are you fucking kidding me?
What is religion of Bluey?
My kids couldn't give a single fuck about Bluey. My kids hate Bluey.
Yeah.
Jake Chapman, I love a blowy. Oh, wrong chat. My wife puts Bluey on for the dog. Oh, jeez.
Really?
Oh,
wow, my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, like don't eat the sofa.
Sevon's stuck in an echo chamber. All right.
A Bluey echo chamber.
All right.
Oh, that's funny.
So the big story is that it's so fun. It's so funny that this is the article I found. It says this is from the AP Press. It says tens of millions of dead people aren't getting social security checks despite Trump and Musk's claims. And what's interesting is I was watching Trump yesterday say, hey, he said specifically the interesting part is going to be when we find out if these people in the database are actually getting security checks. And in the same news conference, so he was very clear that they weren't getting money. And it's funny, and in the same news conference, AP was complaining that they don't get a seat at the they can't come into the White House and ask Trump questions or something. He's kind of kept them at distance, and they want to know why. And he's basically like, because you guys are assholes and you lie about me. And he was very clear in the press conference I saw yesterday that we don't know if these people are getting money yet, but they're in the database. And here's AP. Oh, look, it's a Muslim, Fatima Hussein. See, I can't get away from it.
That means Muslim for sure, you think?
No. Not for sure.
I don't know.
80 yard line.
She does not watch Bluey.
No. The Trump administration is falsely claiming that tens of millions of dead people over 100 years old are receiving Social Security. That's not true. I saw last night him specifically say it's going to be interesting to see if they're getting paid. Here are the facts.
That's not true on the face of it. If you're dead, you can't receive Social Security.
Right, but oh, I see what you're saying. Right.
You can mail me a check, but I ain't receiving shit.
Tens of millions of dead people aren't getting. So yeah, that's funny. It's not the dead people he thinks are getting it. It's their relatives.
Yeah,
and their friends. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's someone who's alive.
Yes.
All the caretakers.
It's some Democrat somewhere.
Let me see. When are we going to find out if they're getting?
Imagine if people were rising up from the dead and cashing checks.
That's called Christianity.
My stimulus.
They resurrected is the technical term.
The Social Security Administration maintains the most complete federal database of individuals who have died, and the file contains more than 142 million records, which go back to 1899, according to the Treasury. The money was reclaimed. Let me see. Treasury estimates in January that would recover more than 215 million during its 3-year access period. So are tens of millions of people over 100 years old receiving benefits? No. Hey, this reminds me of when people thought you hated Coca-Cola and they couldn't draw the distinction, and that you were telling people like they couldn't, no matter how many times you said it, you just didn't want them meddling in the health sciences. They thought like you actually had something and that you wanted to punish them or tax them for their sugary drinks. They got the conflation of your dislike for sugar, or your belief that sugar is, your knowledge that sugar causes chronic disease, with the fact that they're meddling in the sciences. Still to this day, you have to explain that to people.
Yes.
They were sponsoring of people in the marketplace that were direct competitors. Yeah, all right. And then they're jimmying with the health sciences to adverse effect. And that's a problem. But then one of their proxies goes on to commit some egregious, libelous, slanderous act against us, and it was on like Donkey Kong. You soda swilling pieces of shit. I called them soda whores, and they and their soda buddies sued me. And
because you called them whores.
Soda whores, yeah. And in deposition, but prior to deposition, my attorneys have said that whore is not even really defined. And I said, I beg your pardon, I'm more than eager to define it. That's not a problem, should we get to that. But the suit was dropped when emails that they said didn't exist, that weren't responsive to our requests. There were tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, in total millions, but that were directly evidentiary with regards to them being soda whores, hundreds of thousands. And that is that there was more than willingness, there was an eagerness. They were professionally in the business of distorting the public record on the health benefits of their product, being sugar. That was at play. And rather than go down that, it all got dropped.
And then
that's just at the state level. The federal level, that verdict got purchased.
Yes.
Whatever came of that ended up in someone else's hands, and so it's as if it never came to be.
That's the NSC.
My wife's family home burned down, and when they went it went to litigation against PG&E for the home itself. It was their power lines that had burned their house down. And so at deposition, they were met with the attorney for their insurance company. And then they met the PG&E attorney, and it was the same people. And what had happened was PG&E bought their policy.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
Oh, man.
And so there to defend them was PG&E.
Oh, my goodness.
The people they were suing.
They're like, hold on, let me get your lawyer. They just do a 360 and turn and like, hi, I'm your lawyer. You're like, fuck.
Well, it still went into deposition. Then when the old man cried about losing all the pictures of his kids and being a Vietnam vet, the counsel for both sides, the one guy, agreed that enough was enough, and they wrote a check. But imagine that someone can buy your insurance policy.
That's insane. And you know what's crazy? I remember the Crush Big Soda tour, and I think I was there in Walnut Creek when you came and spoke, and it was the first time I met you. And somebody said, "So, Greg, what's the ultimate outcome? Just pull all the Coca-Cola off the shelves?" And you have this puzzled look, as if like, "Did you not just hear what I said over the last fucking hour while I've been here?"
Yeah,
And you were
yeah.
like, "Let me make it clear. Drink a Coca-Cola. My issue isn't with them. My issue is the fact that I want them out of the health and sciences. I want their
Right.
influence out of there, and I want their money out of there." And
Right.
it was clear, and it was like, got it. Okay, doesn't care about the Coca-Cola. Just doesn't want them influence health and sciences.
And
It's a
down
free
the road,
market. It's a free market. Sorry, go ahead.
exercise is medicine is Coca-Cola.
Yeah, which was pushed by Michelle Obama and
It's
a lot of
baked
those
into
people.
the Affordable Care Act.
Yep. It's not about it's just about you moving. Don't pay attention to what you put in your body. Just get out and move 30 minutes a day.
There's, and this comes as a shock to someone to think that your advice is so important, but really what they purchase by their incursions into the fitness space is they have angle and position with which to force your silence on subjects nutrition, and it becomes clear to you through them that it's outside your ken. You're the push-up guy, not the soda guy, and you can't do anything beyond USDA guidelines, which are ultimately crafted by the industry of which they have complete and total control.
And most people don't go, "Oh, I was in this. I was talking to this person at the gym. And they're saying, who cares about the food pyramid? No one uses it anyways." And I said, "Well, you don't understand that." Then they point at that to get their products subsidized by the government. And then they could say, "Hey, look, we're following in a line with this, so we could allow our products into schools. We could subsidize it for people on welfare or that need food stamps and different things like that." And then you disproportionately harm those communities, and you usher all that into the kids because they're using the science that they use to use the model to then bring their foods in.
We're so out on the fringe. Going back to what Mason Mitchell said about living in an echo chamber, we're so out on the fringe. We are so the minority. So many people still think like, hey, 9-grain Wonder Bread, good to go. A little bit of jelly, a little bit of, whatever. You know what I mean? Little Jiffy. Like, you're good. We're so out.
The experts told them it was okay.
We're so out on the fringe. The drones over New York are dead, coming back to life to get their social security checks, says Eaton Beaver. The drones over New York are the dead coming back to life to get their social security checks. Oh, I like that. It's like a chant. I should have read it twice in a row. The drones are coming back. So, Greg, there's this Reddit thread that CrossFit's going to sell again. Souza was exploring I did a show yesterday. Very good show. Very big, popular show. Very big. The best, the greatest. Thoughts on how many times something like this can sell? The reason why is it's kind of like your mom keeps getting remarried again, right? Or something. It's like by the time you have your 6th stepdad, it's not your stepdad anymore. You're not even going to entertain calling him dad. Your dad dies at 1 and the new dude's the dad.
Just a sec. I got to go pee. I'm going to come right back. Can I?
Right? Yeah, please. But you see that, right, Souza? It's like, like this is a familial operation. Like, we don't care if like M&M sells to like, the Bill Gates Foundation and then to Microsoft, and if they just want to have the candy companies like sailing around, right?
Right. And
but how many times can this sell in the where you're still like, okay, I guess that's my new dad. At some point, you're like, nah, you ain't my daddy.
It just depends on what type of car your new dad drives up in. You know what I mean? Like if he drives up in the same car the rest of the dads did, you're probably not going to get that excited. But if he pulls up in a Rolls Royce, you might be like, "Whoa, this one might be interesting. Let's see what's going to happen."
Yeah. Okay.
But I like what Chris Cooper said on one of our shows like years back, and he called it the trading card, the CrossFit baseball card. And so to your point, how many times could that baseball card be traded? As long as it holds its value, it's going to be traded. And so who knows over the stretch of how many years. Now, I think there's a big passion pool to this, which makes it unique. Like we get people that come out of the woodwork that would put serious money towards something like this just because they're really passionate about what CrossFit did for them, right? So that's kind of unusual.
So
Craig's back.
So sorry. So you're saying someone with so much money that they try not to run it like a business?
I mean, they just don't have the same interest in mind. So whenever you have the private equity company buy it, and Greg has said this multiple on shows, they're just Q1, Q2, Q3. We put in $1. How do we get back 3? What's our Q3 objectives? Cool. Did we pump the books? Does it look like there's more value? Does it look like the expenditures are more under control? Revenue lines are stronger. Great. Let's package it to resell.
I personally I can't imagine it being worth. Think of how much you sold it for, Greg, and then I can't imagine it being worth more now than then. Can you? Unless someone has some idea for it. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you make it. Let's say I have a car, but there's no roads, and now there's roads. The value of the car goes up, right? Just outside of whatever the car's value hasn't changed, right? All of a sudden, it's more applicable to the environment. I don't know. I think every time it sells, it's going to take a fucking monster hit. If you see the affiliates as the core of the, I don't think the affiliates appreciate that.
When we being CrossFit were dealing professionally with Microsoft, we were dealing with their devices division, Xbox devices division, and we had done certs for them, did certs since. And we ultimately, us being me, decided to back out of a product launch jointly with them, which they'd never seen before. No partner had ever turned them down in the history of the company. And I liked them all. It was a neat place. But one of my takeaways was that we were radically outmatched by the power and the strength and the quality of their communications with one another, that they could, with looks and expressions and daisy chain glances around a table, come to resolution about things that I would have to set the stage in private and have discussion about. It was really interesting to see. And on easy inspection, they'd worked together for 35, 40 years and grown rich together. These were big shots that knew each other when they were in their 20s and had nothing. Now one of them was one of the fittest 58-year-old engineers you'd ever met on planet Earth, right?
And filthy rich.
And what hit me was that you can take all of the CVs of people and all of the equipment, all of the property, all the real property, all the overhead, everything for a company and put it somewhere and flip the switch and you've got nothing. And I've seen on a very small scale things like that attempted where all the elements are put into place and execution's expected and you have nothing. And it's the relationships that produce magical things and produce magical moments and take advantage of ordinary moments and make them magical. And we had this thing was new, it was different, it was effective, it was honest, and it was backyard driven. If you had a backyard, even if you didn't, you could do it, you could participate, you could lead, you could be important, and it grew to big, and times changed, and I don't know, look at the current position and see what's there. On another sale, what else is there, and is the physiology adequate reason is there something adhesive, cohesive about the physiology? Fine, I don't know it.
What do you mean by that? You don't know it? What do you mean? Yeah, there is something cohesive about the
Okay.
physiology. Unless I'm not understanding you. I mean, it's the most effective program in the world for general physical preparedness. It's the greatest expression that of the all this. I'm preaching back to you, but your own taglines. But it is the operating system for the human genome. You follow this zone diet, you work out every single day, and you're going to make it to be the 1% of 1% fittest people on the planet. And there's all these little gyms around the world where you can go practice it if you don't want to do it for free.
Let's make a list of things that look like that are important to you, and understand I'm talking about shit like you're talking about stuff like washing your hands and
Right.
and cleaning
Flushing my
around your
shit.
butthole,
Flushing my.
right?
I love
Let's look at all
flushing my
those
shit.
things,
Yeah.
and ask me how much community it could be formed around those. Is this generalized to the point where it's less like the first people that washed their hands before doing surgery all knew each other?
Well, let me say this.
I mean, like, and so like CrossFitters all knew each other, and now like I don't know. I'm not weighing in either, by the way.
Right. It doesn't sound
I'm
like
just
you are.
reflecting.
Yeah. Let me say this. Let me pose this to you. Maybe
you know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of the people in the fitness space. Like I see him on TV and stuff, and I just like, oh geez.
Greg, if you buy Rolls Royce, you can look around and be like, man, I got this company as a steal. It's a really strong brand, and there's only 100,000 people on the planet who own them. That means my market is open to 8,900,000 people or whatever, right? Or 900 million people. So in one regard, you have the greatest fitness program in the world with an infrastructure globally, with the greatest, and by fitness, I mean, let's say wellness, health, the whole shebang. And so maybe they just see just crazy opportunity, but they also don't realize it's a Rolls Royce and the cost is super expensive. And I'm not talking about affiliate fees. I'm talking about dedication, commitment, converting those who wake up every morning and eat a venti frappuccino. So I kind of see it maybe as akin to Rolls Royce. And you used to say that basically, yeah, this is the Rolls Royce or the LV. What did you used to say? It's the LVHM of fitness programs. Is that the company LV?
I likened this to luxury goods because of the where we were in the, it was 150 a month at CrossFit and $10 at Gold's. And that required some polishing.
But the first 300,000 of us that adopted CrossFit, we weren't going to affiliates. There were only 300 affiliates worldwide at that point. We were all doing it online for free. Everything, the videos, watching the L1s, you posted all that shit. We were just stealing Rolls Royces and driving around in them.
Or at least how to construct them and building them on your own.
Why don't people do more? Why don't more people do the zone diet? Good morning, Heidi. Good to see you.
I don't know if anyone would recognize the zone diet if fed it.
You mean they wouldn't even know they were eating zone?
No, if you lived in a facility and that if you were to, I don't know, bed and breakfast or incarcerated, and there it was in front of you, I don't know who amongst food experts go, fuck, it's zone.
I can tell.
It is. Look, it's 5 blocks of protein. There's 5 of carb, 5 of fat.
Yeah.
They got us on this own fucking diet. I don't know. I would be shocked if any of its critics had that kind of sense of food.
Danny, people don't zone because the influencers don't tell them to do it.
I can tell you what it is physiologically if we want to pigeonhole things and be more precise. I think it represents that maximum carbohydrate load without specificity as to type, in a manner that captures almost all of the possible result from every method of carbohydrate restriction. In other words, the difference between carnivore and zone in terms of adaptive response to, say, insulin response, it isn't what you'd hope
from other diets.
I'm saying that I go back to Dan Buckler with his fucking sliced turkey breast and Haagen-Dazs ice cream.
Oh.
And god damn, it worked. You know?
Right.
Against my hopes.
Mm-hmm.
It was Sears' projection that the stomach was politically incorrect, that it'd be on some carbohydrate load, it didn't matter, spike your insulin or what. It's going to come back down soon. And hard.
Greg needs a can of C4. What do you mean? For the taste, or you think his energy is low? His energy is not low at all. What are you talking about?
C4.
Your energy. I wonder what that. What has Greg ever had a C4? Just intravenously.
This is coffee.
Oh, that's interesting. When I see you drink out of a cup like that, I think maybe you're sick.
Man, you brought this up.
Oh.
Sneaked it forward.
Oh, is it tea?
Mm-hmm.
Cold tea in a hot. Oh yeah. Oh. Wow, that must be really strong. Did she make it? Did she drip the tea for you? Cold tea?
Got this setup, this thing from Japan.
Where she makes you cold, black, highly caffeinated iced tea?
We have these things you put loose tea in.
Wow. She loves you. That's hard. That's hardcore. No, Greg, I've never seen Greg drink a cup of coffee. Have you ever had a cup of coffee?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I was tripping off the mug this morning, because I was like, I don't think I've ever seen him drink coffee. But it's not. It's tea.
Nasty ass tea in it.
Has Greg, can you tell us this? Has anyone called you? I would figure if there's going to be a sale of the company, someone would have called you, like to ask you your advice. Like the buyer would be like,
Greg. I heard a rumor from high up of packaging, I guess.
Has like someone called you from Saudi Arabia and been like, hello, Greg, I am Mahmoud Abdul Samani. We are thinking about no.
I got hit up though about a event, collegiate national championship event, and some kind of old timers deal, and asked to participate. If I'd be willing to come, I'm going to be sent emails, but I think it's on Feb 28.
You're going to golf? Did you say it's a golf event?
Not a golf, it's a gymnastics thing.
Oh.
But it was interesting. I got Ron Bell called me, the UC Berkeley gymnastics coach, and was a competitor of mine in high school.
I think it's funny anyone from Berkeley calls you. Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And
that's cool.
There was you're talking about degrees of separation, but there was 1 degree of separation between me and the best on earth, and it was a layer that included Ron Bell. In other words, he was better than me in a way that they were better than him, and that was the end of the road. But I got close enough to know Ron and to watch him and to be beaten by him on the regularly.
Would you go to UC Berkeley? And are you doing?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I was gonna look and see what they sent and what was going on, but
you might get stoned there, dude.
The list of people that names that just in talking to him made me think about.
Dude, yeah, interesting.
Like there were good friends of mine that knew him as a kid that I didn't know knew him as a kid. Had forgotten that at least.
You better get all your vaccines and shit updated before you go there. You'll get some sort of fucking disease. I mean, Berkeley has gone to.
Has it?
Oh my God, dude. The most expensive homeless shelter on planet Earth. It is wild, dude.
That's a good way to put it.
The most.
Really? Worse than Santa Cruz?
1,000 times worse than Santa Cruz, dude. It's a fucking Nazi haven, dude.
Yeah, I'll tell Ron I'm not going.
No, I'll go with you. Let's go check it out. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just wild, dude.
Yeah, you guys should cruise through West Oakland real quick before you jump back on. And really
West
see it.
Oakland might
Actually,
be better. West Oakland might be better, dude.
I think they cleaned it up
then,
now.
at least then you know. You know what I mean?
Like you expect it?
You just recognize those guys. You know what I mean? You just know they've been the same bad guys, but this is like just blue-haired psychopath. Berkeley is fucked up, dude. These are people who, if you think even remotely different, no black dude in the hood's gonna fucking beat you up for saying I love Jews. You fucking they see some fucking surf emblem on your sweatshirt that looks like the Star of David. You're dead in Berkeley.
I just have to go down there with my buddies.
You know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
They're gonna hear Glassman and think he supports Israel, and he's toast, dude.
Think you're just gonna have a good time on Telegraph, and here we go, huh?
What's crazy is probably 30% of that town is Jews. But they fucking, man, they hated Jew. It was unsafe for a year to be on campus as a Jew.
So that's all real, huh?
Yeah. Berkeley was pretty bad.
Berkeley was bad.
They had that whole fucking Free Palestine camp out there and protected them. And yeah, if you tried to go through there, I thought there were a couple people that made videos where they're like, hey, I'm just going to try to walk through campus to get through class. And as they go up to where all those campsites were, they would get stopped by all the people and they do the thing with the umbrella. And campus security would come over and he's like, I just need to get through here to go to my class. And they're like, well, just go around. And he's like, well, I don't have the time to go all the way around. I can't just walk through here. They're impeding me. I'm a student here. I pay to go here. And they're like, listen, we don't want any trouble. And he's like, I'm the trouble. I'm walking to my class and there's a campground of fucking idiots here stopping me and threatening me with violence. And they're like, yeah, please just go around.
I know, it's insane. Hey, is Trump gonna dismantle NPR?
You'd only hope.
Yeah, that would Trump funding freezes halts decades of U.S. democracy work around the world. They're still using the word democracy.
Democracy work.
Wow. Man, this would be amazing if they GOP lawmakers set sights on PBS, NPR, and Trump Doge crackdown.
You know what's crazy? It's all the backlash with the Doge thing and with Elon. But when Biden had announced it's whatever 80-something thousand IRS agents that they were going to bring in there, it's like everybody was happy about it. It's like, hey, we're here to extract more from the American public to just send it to God knows where, because clearly we don't have any control over our money. Not really a peep. But hey, we're gonna crack this nut open and tell you where every single dollar went and figure out, is this helping the American people or not? And there's this big backlash. And it's funny because they tried to usher that IRS thing in, saying that they were gonna go after the top, 1% as they try to spin that narrative. You don't need 86,000 IRS agents to go after the top 1%. They were going after $600 or more or whatever it was.
Oh, dude, it was crazy. Yeah. I saw the stats on that. They were they were anal raping the public. That's a really good point. I never thought of that, Souza.
It's just weird that, everybody got behind that and it was screwing them. And you're here and they're trying to basically unwind this and say, hey, we're going to redirect the money to help the American people. At least that's what they're claiming. And here we are all pissed off about it, trying to write to stop them. And somehow it's going to undo democracy. Heaven forbid where the dollar goes.
I think Trump gets it. We really don't need budget cuts. We need government dismantling. And there's a huge distinction. And I know that the Democrats tried to put on the brakes saying we're cool with budget cuts. But we do need dismantling.
Dude, even when I was going through this stuff with the fire, some of the first things they would say is like, hey, and I get it, we're a government thing. So when you send over the invoice, we know how this goes, but you have to be reasonable because they will deny it. And to me, that just said like, hey, if your normal price is $10 and you got a government contract, it's just kind of the unspoken rule that now it's $100. We charge $100 instead of $10. The government will foot the bill.
Kickbacks.
On a huge scale though, right?
Small percentage getting paid to protest. Oh, wow. Tripp said that's he thinks that 80% of the country's been red pilled. God, I love your optimism.
No, that's not what it says.
Isn't that? Small percent get paid to protest, about 80% red pilled. That's the way I took it. That's not how you took it? How do you take it?
Those are Those people are red pilled.
Oh. Oh. You think that 80% is the number
Yeah,
that
I need a
we need
verb
more.
for that 80% red pilled.
Trip, we'll take a verb for
Subject.
500.
Yeah. What's the subject for it?
What did Greg fall asleep? What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, what's going on?
don't bring those up. They get on these little threads like that, then they start doing it. You start
Every once in a while I'll see a comment like that. Like, what's Greg on? I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you on methylene blue or something, Greg?
No, that's a new thing now, huh?
Methylene blue? I guess I keep hearing about it. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I just like to say a bunch of a word and then
It's
blue.
an indicator, right? Methylene blue.
What do you mean? I don't even know what you mean by an indicator.
Look it up. What's it indicate?
Methylene blue. Methylene blue. A medication that treats methemoglobinemia. That's a rare. Am I looking at the right thing? Methylene blue. I don't know. I better pull this up so someone can spell check my shit. It's the right. Is that right? Methylene blue. That doesn't look right. It is. I don't know what it is. But it's a rare condition that affects how red blood cells deliver oxygen throughout the body. A healthcare provider will give you this injection in a hospital or clinical setting. Oh, maybe it helps. What does methylene blue do for humans? A treatment for cyanide poisoning, carbon monoxide poisoning. So it must be some oxygen delivery mechanism, right? I don't know what it does. Cyanide poisoning. That sounds horrible. Anti-inflammatory, helps with mouth sores, reduces pain from chemotherapy. Who should take it? Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I keep seeing it for sale as like some sort of wonder drug. It could cause discoloration of bodily fluids. You start taking blue dumps.
Hey, look, I shit out a Bluey.
Why do they call that show Bluey? Are all the dudes blue? Is it like the Smurfs?
I guess so.
Oh,
I can't watch it then.
Hey, I'm gonna make my kids watch it today. Why do people?
They will.
Yeah, have you watched it? Is it stupid?
I honestly can't say I have.
Okay.
What did Maggie? Kids.
What did Maggie put in his tea? You're getting abused, Greg, in the chat.
Oh my goodness.
No, this is it's not because we started this. Gabriela Avila, thank you very much, buddy. You get 10 minutes of no racist comments towards the Latin community for that. The show starts an hour earlier. I overslept. Greg and Sousa were here on time. This is good for Greg. Greg's been up. Maybe Greg needs a nap because he's already been up for 4 hours.
No, I'm good.
I know you seem good.
More than usual sleep.
I read this thing this morning that reminded me of you, Greg, because it was talking about apprenticeship, and it spoke about Albert Einstein, and he was graduated at the bottom of his class, and there wasn't much work for him, as the story goes. And so he was finding, what job would fit. One of his buddies offered him something at an insurance company, and he's like, I don't want to do this. And the grades weren't big enough to just go into a school or be, just an academic. And so one of his friends ended up throwing a job in front of him that allowed him to approve patent applications. And what he found was that he was able to do that work and use the kind of problem solving of like, would this work or would this not, or questioning it and looking at whatever the model that they're presenting in the patent, right? But as the story goes is he took that job and was excited about it because then he could kind of refine that framework into something that only took 2 or 3 hours. And then he would spend the majority of the time doing all his theoretical work and the writing and everything else. And then out of that job came the theory of relativity, right? And so it just reminded me of when you were there, and I forget the gentleman's name, but one of the trainers that was really well off that would just have you in the garage, and you made your little desk out of the water bottles, and you would sit there and refine the journals and stuff like that. And out of that work came CrossFit. And so there was just a nice correlation there that I picked up, meaning he took the job because it allowed him to continue the work that excited him the most. And then he utilized that time to say, okay, this is going to fulfill this, but really I'm going to attack kind of all the stuff that's going on in my mind. And it was very similar to your thing. Yeah.
Matt, you mentioned Einstein, so I'm going to take the liberty here and recommend that everyone look towards Sabine, Sabine. Even some of the interviewers typically refer to her as Sabine, but it's Sabine Hassenfelder. And she's having a very public kind of a meltdown over the failings of particle physics and the lack of discovery out of the Hadron Collider, and her withdrawal from the highest rankings of that world in a very public kind of failing. And it's a fascinating thing to see. It's have a story around it. In fact, give me a brief aside. We got time for this, Sevi?
Yeah. And I listened to her book, Lost in Math, after you told me about it.
I'm a fan. I like the gal a lot, but she's undergoing something that is epistemologically, it's kind of akin in the astronomical world of laying witness to a supernova. I mean, it's really something to be able to see in all the detail that she's providing and discussing, and mostly unaware. But I first want to tell a story that was told by James Thurber, the comedian and writer. And he was in a biology class and looking in the microscope, and thought was maybe it was a paramecium or something. And the instructor was describing it, and they were all supposed to be drawing it, and he was sketching away and catching this thing, and felt fairly confident that he was catching it in all of its detail. And the professor came around, was telling the students, "Good job, you got it. And look, that's got one of these, got one of those." And comes over to Thurber's and like, "Oh dear God, you fool! You've drawn your fucking eye." And he was seeing a reflection of his eye and sketching it. And I come back to Sabine Hassenfelder, and this relates to Einstein, so help me God. But what Sabine is realizing is that in the debate that Einstein had with Bohr was drawing his eye, that his views of probability were misguided because he saw probability as a physical property and not as something that happens in our own heads. And E.T. James called that the mind projection fallacy. And there it is. You get to see a world-class physicist wake up from the mind projection fallacy, and she really doesn't even know it quite yet herself. But she's saying things like, it's as if everything we know about probability is wrong. And it makes people like me grin from ear to ear. Yes, Sabine, that is exactly what it's like.
Is she did she speak? I know she's been on your radar for a long time, but did she recently speak somewhere new that you saw?
No, but we're seeing passed around recent things. And if you want those, I'll send them to you.
Oh, look, and wow. So she really is stepping into it. This is what, here she is talking about Elon 23. Oh, wow. Her YouTube station is crushing.
Yeah, 1.6 million.
Wow. When you introduced me to her, she was not. Wow.
Oh, okay. I remember seeing something with her, and all of a sudden it dawned on her that like the predictability of what they were saying was just, it wasn't there. Like there was no replication. And that's what she kind of started to pull on that thread, right?
She's pointing out the lack of she claims that elementary particle physics has become non-empirical.
Sabina Hossenfelder.
Mm-hmm.
Look, and there's attack videos on her already.
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. This
Here, I'm going to send you what I refer currently.
This here, Greg, was you had recommended this maybe, I don't know, years back. And this book here was crazy.
That's a great book.
You read that and all of a sudden you're like, oh, fuck. Like none of these repeated. You just pushed it through because you had funding and deadlines and needed it to work. And so you're like, hey, good enough.
Hey, do you know what's funny is I can't find any of these books using the
I just sent you the piece that kind of started me on the rabbit hole of her recent things, both in a text.
Oh yeah, it's 1:20. Do we want to play this now?
No, I don't.
Yeah. Let's play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're good to play it. We're totally good. And if you have time, Greg, I have time.
I do.
Yeah, let's play it.
I got it right here.
Okay.
Use your fucking brain. Your problem isn't that I'm making noise. Your problem is that you're lying to the people who pay you. Your problem is that you're cowards without a shred of scientific integrity. I don't think that taxpayers are stupid. We're not paying physicists for crazy new hype. We want to see results. And soon taxpayers will start asking some tough questions. An example. So they told you that this Dune experiment that's being built from some billions of dollars of public funds at Fermilab will tell us why we exist or why the universe didn't disappear. I regret to inform you that it won't do any such thing. Particle physicists have created these bubbles of useless research. It's not a problem that can be fixed from inside the community. The only way to fix the problem is to stop paying them. If you are one of the many physicists who know full well what nonsense research I'm talking about, but you still keep your mouth shut, if you're one of those who laugh about me because no one believes what I'm saying, if you're one of those who spread lies about me, like that story that I was invited to give a talk at CERN but was afraid to go, did you make that up? I hope it was amusing, but Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, if anyone wants to, that book, Lost in Math, the whole first couple chapters is talking about the CERN collider and how they spent $5 billion on it, and they've found near to nothing. And they keep and weird shit happens, right, Greg? Like they turn it off for a year for repairs. They put another $300 million into it, and then turn it back on for a week, and then turn it back off. I mean, it's like having the world's most expensive telescope and only one dude can use it every 10 years to put one slide under it. It's bad. It's bad.
In Lost in Math, she talks to one Nobel laureate after another about their work in physics, particle physics. And you can't, my takeaway is that she ingratiated herself into their presence, that not a lot of people knock on the door. And maybe a few drinks in got them to admit to things, but in the conversation, you never see where it goes from there. But what she gets them to admit to is fundamentally that there comes a point where she's asking them is it possible it's all bullshit? And they're like, yeah, it's totally possible. But God, it has symmetry or beauty or the architecture is breathtaking if it does exist. And her suspicion is that it's all bullshit.
More than her suspicions. I mean, the project around the CERN cost $13 billion, and the CERN itself, they've already dumped $5.5 billion. Maybe I should pull up a picture of this CERN thing. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
the electricity to run CERN. You ready for this? You're not even gonna fucking believe this. The electricity to run the collider every year, $286 million. That's the electrical bill for that building.
Damn.
And the computing power to process the information they get costs $286 million, and to run the CERN costs $23 million. It has you're looking in this. It's $1 billion in operating costs a year. Holy shit! Holy shit! For something she claims is doing. Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, no wonder people hate her. That's a global economy. That's like a small country's economy at a building site. People hate her. That thing must employ, holy shit.
Wow.
There's crazy shit going on there. Like the guy who pours the concrete for the building, and like the screws and everything there is 10x what it should cost.
Like all the government military contracts. Hey,
you've seen the building, right? Greg points it out to me every time we fly over. It's like I remember the first time he pointed out to me. It's like the longest building what is it?
That's not this. I mean, that's a different subject.
That's a different collider, though. That's a collider too, right?
Yeah. Linear accelerator.
Linear accelerator.
The crazy thing here is, like, on X, I didn't realize this, but you almost have 2,000 followers, and there's 60 people watching this live on there. And that woman, the clip we just watched, almost has over 100,000 views, but the person who reposted and published that has like no followers on there, meaning that the information that's being put out on there is getting a lot of traction in that arena.
That Hassenfeld put out.
Yeah. Somebody ripped that from wherever she originally put it, posted it. They don't even have any traction on X or Twitter, and got a shitload of views off her thing. You post that on Meta and it goes nowhere.
Oh, right.
Meaning that type of information and that cohort of people is
Twitter land.
Yeah, they're eager for it.
What's the one called at Stanford, Greg?
It's a Stanford linear accelerator.
And is it the exact same thing? Theirs goes in the CERN goes in a circle.
It's a different kind of thing, yeah.
It is different?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry for conflating the two.
Different kind of collider, but for sure related.
13.6, I don't even know what this means, trillion electrovolts. Sounds like a lot.
It's a lot. This all comes back to this thing, this Solvay conference in 27. I've got someone sent me a phone cover, and I got a picture of it on top of the book I have on the conference.
Oh, you own that phone cover?
Cool. Yeah, it was sent to me.
Are you using it?
No, it's for a Pro, or Pro Max, and that's not the phone I have.
You have the little one?
Smaller one, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the greatest physicists ever assembled, 19 Nobel Prize winners, present and future, got together in Copenhagen in 1927 by Solvay. Ernst Solvay was the one that funded the thing, and it was a Solvay conference. And they amongst other things, wanted to decide whether the probabilistic nature of quantum mechanics was a feature of nature, if they were looking at nature, or if it was significant of incomplete understanding. And it put Einstein against Bohr at odds with one another, and a very gentlemanly kind of debate. But it did rage through the physics community, and they resolved it in favor of Niels Bohr against Einstein. And I think what Hassenfelder and others are coming to see is that Bohr was right. I believe he was right. I'm sorry, that Einstein was right, excuse me. The probability isn't a physical property.
You don't believe that, you know that.
Yeah, I know that.
You were coin flip. You were being politically correct for a second.
Oh, I'm eager for argument.
The coin flip does that, right? Which is a great analogy. It's like, what is it, 50-50? No, it's not, because there's all those other variables that impact it. You can make a machine that would give you much better odds. So the 50-50 isn't inherently in the coin.
Yeah, you may think that that's a physical property of the penny, but I'm going to build a machine that flips it, and we're going to see the property miraculously somehow end up somewhere else.
All right, thank you.
The Wikipedia article, the interpretations of probability, is accessible, I think, brain-wise to anybody, to everybody.
Just type in probability in the wiki.
Interpretations of probability as a Wikipedia article entry. It's a great thing to talk about. And the getting the wrong answer to this creates the nightmare that Sabina Hassenfeld is living, and getting it right is created the firestorm that includes AI amongst other scientific developments. We're in the midst of a scientific revolution,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really extraordinary. You would missee it to see it as AI. AI is but one facet of it, but it is an epistemological revolution and a realization that the Bayesians were right, and that probability isn't a physical property. It's the rational measure of our uncertainty.
Mm.
And at this point, this has kind of been baked into information theory sufficiently that the skeptical are largely the uninitiated.
Greg, this is weighing way out of the scientific realm, but I feel like if it's not someone, I feel like a lot of the people that I meet who would know this would never speak up. That there's there's not a lot. Okay,
I agree.
That there's not people like you, Briggs, Sabina, maybe Elon. Like there's these people who would speak up, but the most of the people that I meet at your conference who like know this stuff, they have no activism in them. And I'm trying to be very polite. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of people who know this shit wouldn't dare speak up.
Go to the second paragraph. Just roll up just a little bit. I want to just point out one thing real early here. Okay, stop. See this physical probabilities, which are also called objective or frequency probabilities, are associated, and here it is, with random physical systems such as roulette wheels, rolling dice, and radioactive atoms. Here's the rub, and I don't even know if the author here sees it. There's no such thing as random physical systems. And a roulette wheel is not a random physical system, and neither is a rolling dice, and neither is a radioactive atom.
Wow.
And therein lies the problem.
Mm-hmm.
No such thing.
Wow.
I'm running with the line now that in retirement, I've become a scholar of physical probability. And I just love that because there's no such fucking thing. And what a wonderful thing to be a scholar of something that doesn't exist. It's kind of like a Harry Potter expert. But that's where the problem starts. You can see it. Right?
Yeah, because you could control some variables with the roulette wheel as an example, and you could control a few variables on there, and we could get a very predictable
roulette
outcome.
wheel stops where it does for cause. It's not a random physical system. The only part that what's unknown is in your head.
Right. If you could measure all the factors,
yep,
you could predict it 100% every time. The only thing, so what is the truth about the roulette wheel? The roulette wheel is there's so many factors that are involved in the ball dropping in it. There's not enough computing power to determine it, and so so we default to it's random, but it's not.
That's right.
Because we just don't have the physical, we don't have the mental horsepower to predict it. We don't even understand all the mechanisms at play. Wow.
Correct.
Yeah,
Wow.
but the casinos understand it perfectly because what they did to get, but what they did to get more action on the roulette tables is they put a little screen up there that showed you the last 10 times the ball hit, where the ball hit. So now
to manipulate you.
Yes, so now I think, okay, look, it showed black 5 times. Okay, this is going to be red now. I got this kind of figured out.
This is some good word fuckery, sufficiently random.
Yeah. Any attempt to metric a proxy within a casino is a felony.
Wow.
Any proxy. So you start measuring air density and felt density on the table and the balance of the dice, and you're lining them up.
Yep.
And they don't even know how that would work for you, but they're not going to let you do it anyways.
That's right. just like with that craps table, they got all the diamond shapes on the back, and they make you hit the dice on the backboard. So that way, as it hits those different shapes, it randomizes. Because one time I just got lucky and I read this book on how you could manipulate the dice, and you try to keep them together and you throw it so they roll, and it helps increase your probability of getting a certain outcome on the dice. And I got lucky and I hit it a few times, and the pit boss comes right over and he goes, "Hey, we need some more action on that dice. Give us a shake before you throw it next time."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that was that.
Wow.
Yeah, because if you put the dice together, you put the middle finger between the two dice, you arrange them in a certain way. As you roll them, you try to get them to have a singular rotation, and it just helps increase your odds of getting some sort of number that you want on the die.
Sousa, that's so you. To
Read
do
a book
that.
about it, then go down there and try. Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
I love you,
like,
dude. You're
I was like
so
22,
good, dude.
and I bought a fake felt, just to practice the roll of the dice to see. And I would keep the marking and determine which ones I could get the best. It was all random, but $1,200 I was up.
No shit.
Yeah, down there with my dad on my grandpa's birthday. It was like,
Greg, have you ever thrown craps at a casino? I've never done that. Not once in my life. Have you ever done that?
Yes. Not at a casino, no. But I was hired to be a croupier.
A what?
Put me into that and did a few hours training and then a few hours of that and left.
You mean you actually were training to run a craps table? The guy with the stick?
Yeah, I did for a charity.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't for me.
I would just be caught like just staring at all the hot chicks constantly. I'd be fucked. I'd be like, did someone throw the dice? I would not stay focused.
Yeah, where did they go?
Yeah. Richard Alvarez, holy cow.
Hey, Rich, what's up, buddy?
You know who that is?
Yeah.
Oh, gracias, señor.
Owns CrossFit Riverside.
Gracias, muchas gracias. Oh yeah, I met this guy.
Yeah,
I'm really good with names.
Good dude.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
All right, man. Matt, good hearing your voice. Good seeing your face. Thanks, everyone.
All right. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
Greg.
buddy.
Bye.
Good timing.
I know Greg inside and out. He seems perfectly normal to me.
The chat does that. They
well, like, the thing is, they've been saying that for a few weeks now. People like someone in the YouTube comments will be like, "What's he on?" I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, really?
What, you never heard anyone smart talk?
In fact, I thought he was a little more like joking and jovial today than normal.
Yeah.
If anything else.
Yeah, he was chill. This is a better time for him. Matt Schindeldecker, what's up, Ball? It's been a while. Good day. Hey, dude. I missed you in the chat the other day. At some point, I need to hear your Jesus finding Jesus story.
Yeah, we should maybe just get him back on for a check-in, huh?
I would love that.
Yeah, we need to chat with him. What's up, Matt? Hope you're doing well, dude.
How are you doing for time?
Technically today I got a while, but unfortunately I was gonna say good timing because I only have about 6 minutes, and then I'm meeting with our live stream crew. We got real meetings and shit and a project manager now, dude.
For what?
For our live streams.
For the 7 podcast?
Yeah.
Oh. Are you talking about NorCal Classic and the Syndicate?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, so we got a standing meeting, a standee meeting.
That's
we got
today?
a weekly meeting at 8 a.m. today because my Wednesday is shifted, like you said, for a couple weeks here. So hopefully be able to do the Greg show, and then jump over with those guys and hit the meeting at 8.
I want to tell you something. Do you have a second?
Yeah. I'm just gonna literally go right from here to this, so we could go right up until the time.
Okay. So I'm gonna play this clip for you here really quick. This is from Mr. Woolley's Instagram account.
A pretty fucking touching moment where he said, "Hey, basically CrossFit fucking saved my dad's life, and I am gonna do the open." And then he turns and says, "Hey, will you give $500 to my gym to help the fucking class?" And yeah, I'll do that.
I watched that like 10 times. That was the first time I didn't laugh. I want I know 99% of you know this already, but the cool thing, so when I used to work for, I used to work at a home for disabled adults. I lived there for 5 years, and I would take the disabled adults everywhere to parties. There would be weed smoking. I took them to the beach to play frisbee with me. I took them to keggers. I took them to the UC pool and went swimming with them. I treated them just like friends, and I took them everywhere with me. And everyone else just treated them like retards. And that's the cool thing about being around me, is that I treat every single person the same. Like, I would sit just right next to someone with cerebral palsy, put my arm around them. I'd sit in their wheelchair. Like, everyone around me gets the full fucking throttle of fucking love that just pours off of me, and embrace and acceptance. Like, everyone. Like, even like literally you would have to hurt my kid for me to I never need to forgive anybody, because there's nothing you could do to me. Like, a shopping cart can come flying down the parking lot and hit my car, and I'm unfucking flappable. And if people who know me know that, I have to almost 99% of the excitement I do is just me being a dancing monkey. I am a thespian. It's almost impossible. You could steal. It's like, recently Susan and I, someone took $2,000 from us, and we don't have time to chase you. It's like, okay, thank you. And we don't, there's someone I read protesting asked for their $20 back from the CrossFit Games, because they don't want to be in the open. And there was a post about it the other day, and I'm thinking to myself, if I wouldn't ask $20 back from fucking Hitler. Do you know that? I would use that time to go count the freckles on my son's face, to stare into his eyes. And so I'm not even upset at the person who took the 2,000. I don't even need to forgive them. It's on them. It's okay. You just do your thing. I'm singularly focused on what I'm doing. I know you have your own life. And so you have to understand, for anyone who thinks I'm being disrespectful to retards, I just wish for a second that you could realize that it's you being disrespectful to them. I wish you could just see the big picture. Everyone can get some. That's why disabled people love being around me. That's why blacks and lesbos and fucking midgets and everyone, because I don't care. They're all equal. I respect and disrespect everyone equally. I don't even play the respect or disrespect game. And the only thing that bums me out about this, is there's really people who fucking got their shit frazzled by this. And if you come to my podcast and you watch it just to get frazzled, that's on you. I get it, right? You want to come, you know what I mean? When you watch something just to piss you off.
Yeah, hate watch it.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm here for it. But there's people who are really upset. It's like people who are upset that Doge is happening, instead of enjoying the audit of the US government and maybe some of that money going to helping people. They're upset. And it's like, if you had retarded kids, you would want them around me. Do you understand that? I would treat them perfectly normal. Everyone can get some. I love and play and joke, and it's all one giant agape for my fellow knowers. The believers, I will wait for you in heaven as you continue to believe.
Yahweh.
Thank you. Engagement is low, so post about Sevon. I mean, and I feel sorry for him too.
Yeah.
Can you imagine responding to someone who says your engagement is low? Poor John Woolley is so
wound up.
Yeah, dude. That show we did we did the poll.
Yeah.
Where whether he jerks off to Danny Spiegel. Do you know that bit we did on Kill Taylor?
Yep.
That fucked him up, dude. I'm sorry, John. I didn't know it was gonna No one was spewing hate on you, John. Like, just so you know, we all thought it was funny, and if you were offended by it, I get it. But no one, like, no one was like, "Fuck that guy, he's a piece of shit. I hope he burns in hell." None of that shit. No one was calling you like human trash or like, dude. It's just fuckery, dude.
Yeah, and by the way, I know we discussed this, but I already had the perfect comeback for him. That would have been like amazing.
For who?
For Wooly.
In regards to
the whole Kill Taylor thing. Like, if that were me, I just would have continued to play the game. I would have posted that meme of the South Park guy where he's like leaned back like this, and there's just freaking cum all over the computers.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I just
should have totally posted.
I just would have superimposed your face like down kind of underneath the desk and been like, "Come on, Sevon, you know really what happens," and just like left it, right?
Right.
And just played the game. Instead, it went with the like trust fund baby action of, well, my dad's gonna sue you.
Yeah, he went straight to suing.
Okay.
And then he had to walk it back. It was embarrassing. Let me see. Joel, we love you, but you do say wild things. No, and you do say wild things. Not but. That people who hate you will take out of context. I mean, I'm not naive. I totally get it. I agree. It's going to keep happening unless you change, but it's not. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I'm totally I'm not in denial, even in the slightest, Joel. So I appreciate that. But what sucks is that though these people are defending these people to play the victims, like the real like disabled people just want to be treated like everyone just wants to be treated normal. No one wants any like healthy people don't want any special thing, and I sure as fuck don't want like what if Sousa walked around every time he was with me and was like, if someone says one thing about his fucking nose, I'll beat their ass. I'm gonna be like, wow, is my nose really that fucked up? Like that's all I'd be thinking the whole time.
Yeah, or then all of a sudden someone says something and then I actually act on it and you're like, dude, now my kid saw that. That was crazy of you. The fucking cops are here. Like, you punched that lady. She wasn't even referring to me.
Yeah. Or like, dude, like what do you like?
Yeah.
I'm happy. Like I'm going for the world's biggest nose contest. I've been rubbing ointment on. I mean, it's just like,
don't take it away. All right, I gotta run though. I gotta run.
Okay.
I don't want to be too late for this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Feel free to come back. I'll still be on.
Okay. Awesome.
We want normal. Yeah. Ernie the retard wants normal treatment. Yeah. Everyone just wants normal treatment, dude. No one is scared of Sousa. I bet you would be scared of Sousa if you saw him in person and saw him get angry, by the way. Sousa got Sousa's part hood rat, dude. It's crazy. Anyway, so then Wooly respond. It's a little bit sad. He's bragging about how high his engagement is. There's one really sad Sevon doesn't drive engagement on this page. I wouldn't imagine I would. There's one really sad comment in here. The sad thing is how unsurprising that is to witness. So Meredith Root, I've had her on the podcast before. Great lady, but just lost her way. Married to Alex Parker. She's been like, she's been mean to Chase, and she's openly been, racist and sexist, and under the guise of being nice. And she, if you go to her Instagram account, her and Alex is there. It's like just a cohort of people with mental health issues, and she demands you play the victim. And she is monetizing that. I don't think like consciously she knows she's doing that, but that's what she's doing. But there's one comment in here that's like from someone who's disabled, I guess. There's a reason Matt Frazier stopped doing a podcast with them. I have no respect for anyone who supports persons who make fun of people. I mean, my whole thing is making fun of people. A 2-to-1 ratio, 2 for me, 1 for you. A lot of people are shocked. Driving clicks. He's such a piece of look at this guy. This is the world's strongest gay. This is a guy who won't accept me, but accepts cock in his ass. Imagine that. The world's strongest gay. You say you don't want to accept me, and yet you accept fucking 10 inches in your bung. He's such a piece of shit. Proud to be your friend. I guess John Woolley's friend. It's crazy. Savon is disgusting. Is this because he said you stroke your hog over Spiegel? Hold on. Let me just read you the sad one. You're bringing more attention. And I would comment in these, like this one says the what class, and I want to write in there the retard class, but like this is not this has gotten weird in the sense that he's a gigantic waste of life. Like, dude, that came out of your mouth. Do you remember when Jake Lockhart was on here the other day and he said like the worst thing you could do is damn someone to hell? It's like, yeah, I would never like. Where like, do you have no lines? I'm a gigantic waste of life. Like, why not just call me a cunt or a piece of shit? Like, I don't. You said that. Such a nice man, just the kind of person that international fitness business. Listen to this. Someone wrote this. This is actually kind of funny. I can't tell if this is facetious. I hope Sevon gets canceled for using derogatory hand gestures. Absolute. So this guy always hates on me. Sevon finally has a chance. Yeah, like this is. Look at Sevon finally has a chance to prove he's not a complete dung hole, but then goes and opens his trash dispenser and ruins it in a single 15-second soundbite. Solid. Okay, I get it. I think Luke Stoltman is the world's strongest bi, someone writes. Oh, yeah, probably. I think like if you're bi, you Luke Stoltman. Let me see. There's just a disabled dude in here who's just tripping. I wonder where it is. Okay, so look at this. CrossFit Florence. Sevon Matosian is ignorant in his response and seems to lack empathy and compassion. You see, those are the woke words. We already know who lacks empathy. You haven't thought for a minute what it feels like to be disabled or someone or have a giant nose or everyone's always defending you instead of treating you just normal? I have a son with autism. He works so hard at CrossFit and brightens everyone's day when he's there. Hey, dude, I'm going to tell you the truth. He doesn't brighten everyone's day. It doesn't brighten everyone's day. I'm going to tell you what. 99% of the people don't like him and fake liking him. And there's 1% of real fucking motherfuckers who can see him, who can see his spirit and treat him normal. That's the truth, dude. Sorry. It's the truth. And if you think I'm putting someone down in the traditional sense that like that guy called me a waste of life by doing this, you're out of your fucking mind. Yeah, toxic empathy. I guess that would be the phrase of it. Yeah, it's not empathy at all, dude. They feel sorry for your kid. They're not fucking treating them like a normal person. Anyway, there's someone in there who's in the adaptive class. I couldn't find it. Who's basically like, what a piece of shit. We're fit. Most of us are fitter than him. Or there's disabled people who are fitter than him. And to that, I have to tell you, are you out of your fucking mind? No retard's fitter than me. Listen, buddy. Every single guy in the one-arm division could fucking beat the fuck out of me. The woman who wins the fucking neurological fucking event at the Wheelwad games can fucking outrun me, out pull up me, out everything me. Are you out of your fucking mind? By no means, I hate being misunderstood. By no means am I suggesting that I'm fitter than one fucking person at the Wheelwad games. If I got within arm's reach of fucking Kayvon Ogar, my black brother, he could fucking twist my head off and fucking throw it over the fence. The fuck are you thinking that I'm suggesting that I'm fitter than anyone? I'm crazy. Anyway, back to what Joel was saying. I understand how some people might be. I know that those who fake empathy and feign kindness, and I get it. And listen, there's a couple of you that are probably listening right now, and you're like, oh yeah, Sam Dancer. He's disabled, right? He's semi-retarded and blind. Yeah. Pat Lang. When I see a disabled person at a CrossFit gym, it 1,000,000% brightens my day. You're wrong on this one, but okay, fine, good. Well, Pat, hey, Pat, maybe you're just that 1%. Maybe you're just that 1%. But let me tell you something, Pat. I walked around with disabled people for 5 years all over the fucking community. And let me tell you what I saw. 99% of the people are like, what the fuck? And I don't blame them either. It's like foreign to them. And they just hug the little Down syndrome woman that wants to hug everyone because they're doing it because they feel obligated. No one's going in for the big fucking hug and treating them like a real motherfucker. So, and you're a weird dude, Pat. You're probably copping a feel. So, but I'm telling you the truth. So anyway, for those of you who got pissed off, someone asked me the other day why I post rage bait, and I had never even heard that term before, rage bait. And I had posted something that I thought was funny, but I think that's definitely what maybe that's what Wooly wants to do. I think what happened is he got so bummed. That Kill Taylor episode must have just prolapsed his anus. I mean, I think his brain fell out of his head or something. And I had been told that he was a very sensitive guy. And that's why it's really hard to understand him, because he can't commit to like anything. That someone's like, hey, he's a really good dude. It is really hard to speak with him because he can't ever say anything because he's like in constant like fear or afraid. And so that's why he hides behind the memes and all that shit. But I think he's having I don't know. But for those of you who are getting enraged by seeing clips of me, I'm sorry that you have to deal with the I don't know if sorry is the right word. Just don't watch clips of me. They're not for you. You're not emotionally developed enough or sophisticated enough in your in the social nuances that make it so everyone feels comfortable. I remember Greg told me one time to drag him into this, that growing up, he never, ever wanted to talk about his injury because he hated the fact that it was like someone would say, hey, that's pretty good for a guy with one leg. Oh, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. If who's afraid? I don't know what you're talking about. If he was afraid, I don't think he would show his face or align himself with his actual account. I don't know if you're referencing me. Listen, if you're calling people names with memes constantly, there becomes a point where you're afraid. I mean, not afraid like afraid like I was afraid of like the underside of a lawnmower. He's just socially crippled, like so many people are. You know what I mean? He's socially crippled. Like, like everything has to be PC. God forbid, like you're just going with the populace. Sebi, this chat is too sophisticated and we're here every day. I know. This chat is not sophisticated. Oh, you think it's just a bunch of Nazis? I'm sending a cease and desist for his logo. His logo? Woolly Mammoth? Can't you just call him and just be like, hey, dude, don't use that? What? Did you draw that? I can't tell if you're joking. This logo? Woolly, you're not allowed to use circles. TheRealSevonPodcast.com? Oh, Nelly. What the fuck is this? Oh. Wow. Holy shit. Wow. 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 Uh, wow. Wow. Buy a t-shirt. Mm. I want to donate, but let me know if you have any questions. Oh, I can talk to him. Can I talk to him in real time? Oh god. Oh my god. All right. Do we even have I wonder if do I even the Sevon podcast. All right. All right. Anyway. I didn't the just there's levels of just spewing hatred. Did you trademark your CEO branding? I don't know. I like do he can do it. I don't look I just saw in a movie I saw on Netflix about some fucking long-haired dude named Jesus. If someone sues you, you're supposed to like turn the other cheek or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that shit. Hello?
Hey, go all the way to that. Go back to that webpage and go to the bottom and
Uh
click buy the shirt.
the Real Sevon podcast.
Yeah, go back to that. Everybody's telling you go to the bottom of it.
Okay, I'm at the bottom. It's just a bunch
It
of
should be-
it's just a bunch of like memes and stuff.
There should be. Look at the bottom left corner.
This website is satire, not affiliated or endorsed by the associated with the Sevon podcast in any way. All content, views, and opinions expressed on the site are solely those of the website owner and do not reflect the views and opinion of the Sevon podcast. You can tell because it's actually funny, contains no slurs, homophobia, or misogyny.
Do you think that's why he wanted his lawyer?
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, in my I'm willing to bet 2 inches of my cock. I know I'm gonna go 3 inches. That 100% that when he
You only
posted
have length left.
that he for sure wrote that thinking he was gonna sue. Like he got really rocked, dude. Do you know anyone who knows him? Someone call him and ask him. I mean, that shit rocked him, dude.
Yeah, man.
And so then he posted that right away. Like, just imagine, why would someone post that? Just think, would you ever just post, I've never used my lawyer and today I'm using my lawyer? Like, what a weird post.
And
that totally comports with
that, I was like,
and that totally comports with what I'm saying about him. He's like, he's scared ever to really say anything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so he wouldn't just be like, I'm suing the fuck out of Sevon. So instead, it's like this. It's always vague. It's the fucking black square people. It's just the woke people. They're so afraid to drill down. I mean, you saw even Annie's most recent thing about Lazar Jukic. She couldn't even say Lazar's name. They can't even say what upsets them about Dave. They're just scared. I don't know. Everyone's scared, or they're intellectually just unable to just pin down and commit. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like, I've spoken to a lot of people about like why they're not doing the open or what it is, and they're very conflicted on what others are going to think about them. That's really it.
Yeah, that's a tough place to live, dude.
Yeah, like that's really the biggest thing. Like I've talked to about maybe 10 people in the last week or so, and a lot of things like, well, I just don't know how to navigate it. like navigate what? Like, do you either want to do fitness or not? That's it. You're
Yeah.
still in here.
Yeah.
So
No one. Yeah. And hey, if you don't do the open this year and you're a big name, like you're gonna catch some shit. It's okay. Like just stand by it. Even those people, but you are gonna catch some shit.
yeah,
It's
I
like
mean,
you've
yeah,
been doing.
I talked to a lot of people at my affiliate.
Yeah, you've been doing CrossFit for fucking 8. Yeah, and if you're nobody, no one's gonna care. But if you've been doing CrossFit for fucking 8 years, like Lauren Khalil or Ariel Lowen, like if they don't do the open, I'm not saying that they're bad people, but they're gonna catch some shit. Everyone's gonna be like, dude, you've been leveraging the community for 10 years. Come on, dude. Just because the fucking boat got rocked. Like, why not just do the open and then wear a shirt with the middle finger with Don Fall or Dave Castro on it or whatever your issue is?
Yeah, I don't think the open reflects the games at all whatsoever. It's more of like what you're doing in your own space, in your community, in your neighborhood, like, you know.
And
like,
then also it's a reflection of your character. And so just stand by it. So then Ariel could just be like, well, fuck Sevon or fuck him. I $20 is important to me and I want to stand by this. Okay, cool. Then be cool on that too. But just to live in any kind of that kind of fear is crazy.
Yeah, that's a big consensus, man, that I've gotten from other people. Even like in my own, like the last 3 gyms I went to,
Yeah.
I asked the owners, I asked people, and they're like, yeah, just, you know, it comes down to what are people going to think about me? And that's just like regular people too. Not even like
I
big
don't
athletes.
want anybody to know
So-
I'm disabled.
It's just really weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine walking around. This is gonna be hard for you to imagine, but imagine being the shortest guy everywhere you go with a giant nose and just being like, God, I hope no one notices. God,
I mean, dude, I live in the South, man.
oh God,
Being
what
the
are
shortest
people?
brown guy here is the worst, bro.
What are people gonna think about me? What are people gonna think about me?
Bro, I like the thing, like for me, right? Like racism here. I'm in the South, man. I'm brown, and everybody around me is like just white, blue-eyed.
Hey, is
blonde.
that weird?
And I date white girls, dude.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Is there anti-brown sentiment with all this immigration shit, or is it no?
I mean, not for me. I don't care.
Right,
I give 2 shits.
I haven't
lean into it, man.
sensed it. I feel like the brown community's like jumped, like everyone's on the same team. All the
You know, like
whites, the blacks, and the browns are like, fuck, dude, close the border.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, I mean, for me, like, my
Sorry,
sentiment
and
is like, yo, you
Asians.
should have got here earlier.
Say-
Like, you should have got here earlier, dude. When I did in the 80s, fuck it.
Oh, did you immigrated here?
Oh yeah, dude.
From
Back
where?
in the 90s. Acapulco, Mexico, dog.
God, you've completely lost your accent. That's crazy. Is your
Oh,
Spanish still
So I
fluent?
used to, yeah, I still speak Spanish. So
Oh,
the
you're a
the thing
boss.
was like back in high school, I used to get like really bullied. I used to get in a lot of fights because of my accent. So I took a summer class, speech class in college to get rid of my accent and learn how to talk.
Oh, that's amazing. Was that fun or was that just disgusting?
It was terrible, dude. I mean, I love fighting, so that was fun, but getting bullied every fucking day.
No, I don't mean the bullied.
Get...
Was it hard doing the losing?
Class?
Yeah, that class. Hey, do you think you could? Yeah, well,
it was tough learning how to enunciate and shit.
Do you think that made it so you could do other voices? Like, are you like, oh, after taking that 9 weeks, I understand how the fucking tongue works in the mouth and bends air. I can do Trump. I could do Bush. I could do Biden.
No. I can't. I still get like my accent really comes out every now and then, especially when like I'm mad.
Like if you have your 2 beers, it's like gay dudes. Like you don't know your friend's gay until you like do 4 shots with him, and then he's listening.
2 beers in,
and you're like, oh, this motherfucker wants dick. So it's like that. Dude, you're like, 2 beers away, and you're full vato.
Yeah, like my C's and my Z's get all fucked up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, dude. I fucking came in like 95. I was like 8 years old.
Yeah,
went through that whole like with the coyotes and shit.
Oh,
my
that's
mom paid
amazing.
Like $6,000.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I was in this fucking house in Tijuana with like 12 other Mexicans just waiting to cross.
You crossed on foot?
No, dude, in a van with some other kids' fucking birth certificate.
So you actually went through the border crossing?
Yeah, I had to learn like phrases in English for like 5 days.
So like the guy, the place with the huge line, and there's like all those booths. It's like a toll booth. Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Do you remember being scared? Were you nervous?
Oh, dude, yeah, dude, it sucked, man. I was fucking 8 years old, man, by myself with two people I didn't know, getting trafficked.
And did you say you were with your parents?
Nah, so my mom left me in Mexico when I was 4 with my aunt to come here, and then she saved up money, and then when I was 8, she sent she hired 2 people to come pick me up from Mexico, bring me to TJ, and then they taught me like 5 or 6 phrases in English for like 5 days. I was just practicing in this like crazy house with like 15 other Mexicans just waiting to cross. And then we got into a van and they gave me a Game Boy, and then like we were crossing like 4 a.m. and then like the border patrol was like, "What's her name?" And I was like, "My name is Luis." And they're like, "What are you doing?" Like, "I'm going home with my grandparents." And it was like 2 people in the front. So then eventually, like, they let me cross, and then they dropped me off at the McDonald's outside of the border crossing, and then my mom picked me up at like 6 a.m. from there
When they dropped you off at the McDonald's, who were you with?
by myself. That was it. They finished their job and they left me there, dude.
8 years old in a foreign country at a McDonald's. In a
Yeah, dude, they gave me
shithole
20
part of
bucks and
town.
said, "Order some food." Yeah, it was in San Isidro, right there, like right after the border crossing.
Yeah.
There's a there's a 24/7 McDonald's right there.
And did they speak Spanish, dude, at the McDonald's?
No, I mean some people did, but I just asked for number one. Like, that's it.
And do you remember when your mom walks in and you hadn't seen your mom in 4 years?
Yeah,
Did you just start crying?
dude. Yeah, I hugged my mom, and then like we drove to Orange County after that. Like from there, like a 2.5 hour drive to Orange County.
Oh, your poor fucking mom. Holy, that must have been the hardest 4 years of her fucking life, dude.
Dude, it fucking sucked, dude.
Oh my God. And then that's it. And then, hey, dude, does the Border Patrol know that you're illegal and they're just letting you in, like someone's paying them, or they're like, okay, every 10th car we're letting in, or like, how do they not know? They're not stupid. They must have known, right?
I mean, if you notice, a lot of the Border Patrol are Mexicans, man.
Right.
So yeah, so I mean, they fucking know. But if all the paperwork checks out, what can they do?
Damn.
Especially back then, man. Back in the 90s, fucking coming through by the fucking handful of people.
Oh, there's a shirt,
So,
"Make CEOs Extinct Again." I think I think he sent me a text a month ago asking me if it's okay to make this shirt. Which is kind of a weird kind of niceness. I guess that's polite, I guess. Hey, dude, that's crazy. Well, congratulations. Are you glad you're here? Is any part of you like, fuck you? I would have rather stayed there.
oh no, dude, fuck no, not over there. Like I joined the military, like whenever 9/11 hit, I fucking joined the military, and then Obama came into office and I got my fucking citizenship. That was great.
Oh yeah, there was like some sort. How did that work? Was there some sort of law passed that's like, hey, if you're illegal, there's a 1-month window to sign up, and we'll get you know.
So I was deployed in Iraq at the time, and I came back off a mission.
So you were in the military as an illegal?
No, I was a permanent resident. So we started the process to get my visa and everything when I was like 9 or 10. It took like forever. I got my permanent residency when I was like 15.
Okay. And that was that scary that during somehow in that process you could get kicked out? Like they're like, fuck you.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, if we saw cops, we were just like act normal. Like if we saw anybody with any sort of authority, we would just stop doing what the fuck we were doing.
Yeah, that's crazy. God, dude, that'll put you under a lot of stress. Maybe that's why you're only 5'5". Maybe you were supposed to be 6'10".
And just fucking stunted my growth.
Yeah. Dude. That's a lot of stress to grow up with that people don't fucking understand. I have had a few friends who've very close friends and relatives whose family members are either wanted by the FBI or working with the mafia or shit like that. It puts the fucking kids when there's constant threat of when there's constant illegal activity around you, that shit'll fuck you up. Or perceived illegal activity. You're just being afraid someone's gonna take you. Oh shit, I lost you. Hold on. Go ahead. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, so say that again. Sorry, the phone disconnected.
I say, yeah, man. I used to like get pulled over for like speeding or doing some shit. Like that was fucking nerve wracking.
Yeah. I still
Every
get nervous
time.
when I still get nervous. The other day I was driving my kids to sushi and a cop followed me for like 3 miles and I turned right into the parking lot of sushi place and it turned right. I'm like fucking sweating bullets.
Yeah, dude, it's shitty. When I was in Arizona, man, like in Arizona, the border patrol is really wild. They have authority all over the state and they can pull you over for whatever.
Yeah.
They pulled me over when I was in uniform.
Oh, wow.
And I was in full uniform. I was in lunchtime and they pulled me over and I used to drive a BMW. So they're like, hey, we got reports of a car similar to this. And I was like, no, you didn't, dude. Like my car has military tags. Like no, you did not. And I'm in fucking full uniform. So they pulled me over, they set me to the side of the curb, they handcuffed me. And I was like, hey man, there's 2 rifles and a pistol in the back. So when you pop that trunk open, like I have permits and everything. And like they kept me there for like 2 hours. So they called my commander, and my commander had to come down and be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
What did you do though that was illegal? You weren't supposed to have those guns in your trunk?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No, nothing. They just pulled me over. They were just like, hey, we have a description of this car. That it has like been part of drug cartels and whatever. Because I was in Sierra Vista. Sierra Vista is 5 miles from the border where drug cartels cross over a lot.
Yeah.
So a lot of like special forces units go down there and do missions and to stop like mules and people crossing with.
Devesh says you were guilty of driving while brown.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep, driving while brown, man. And like, so they put me for like 2 hours. I was on the side of the curb, handcuffed, and like my commander had to physically come down and tell him like, yes, he's in the military. He is not who you think he is. Like fucking let him know.
I used to be pulled over a lot, like a lot for in Oakland, like a lot, like a week never passed without me getting pulled over. Sometimes I'd get pulled over 3 times in a day, and it was because I lived in an all black neighborhood, and they assumed that if I was white and I was in that neighborhood, I was getting drugs. Like every it was fucking crazy. But I will tell you this, I hadn't thought of this before quite like this. But the thing is like, just think of the odds that go up. It's not really black people that get pulled over, it's black men, right? It's not really black men that get pulled over, it's men. So like if you're a man, you're already like at the 70-yard line. Then if you're black, you're at the 78, and if you're Mexican, you're at the 76. You know what I mean? It just goes up.
Yeah.
But if you're a dude, we're oppressed as fuck as dudes. But rightfully so.
Yeah, dudes do stupid shit all the time.
Yeah. All right, dude. Thanks for calling. I'm glad. And thank you for your service, and thank you just for being cool and an honest dude in the comments. Always good to hear from you.
All right, brother. We'll see you.
All right, bye. Oh. Right. The truth is, you were getting drugged. No, I wasn't. I wasn't. No, I was not. I was not. I used to hang out with I have told you the story. I used to hang out with I remember all these dudes I hung out with. When I first started hanging out with them, the first time I smoked weed with them, I pulled out some weed and they pulled out these pipes, and they were the weirdest little pipes I'd never seen before. They were these glass pipes with the smallest bowl you've ever seen. And I would be like, what the fuck? So you put it's like you can't even put one hit of weed in there. So I put the hit of weed in there and I'd hit it, and every time I smoked it, it would be like, this is disgusting. This tastes like fucking like burning plastic. And they're like, hey, dude, finally I realized these are crack pipes. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Sevon was racially profiled white guy in a black neighborhood, must be buying drugs because drugs are sold in black neighborhoods. This neighborhood, I mean, to call it a black neighborhood, it just happened to be like 90. That particular neighborhood that I was always in was like 90% black. My neighborhood was 100% black. I didn't really get pulled over in my neighborhood, but there was one like on the other side of University, probably 10 blocks away. It was crazy. Not crazy like violent crazy, but just like literally just so many crazy people. It was like retired, like all 40 and 50-year-old black men and women. And all my friends had those like old like girlfriends or wives, or like some of them were even prostitutes, and they were always wearing those crazy wife beaters with no bras. And I was not comfortable with it back then. I was not cool like I am now. It was crazy. No one had furniture in their house, their apartment. But I heard some great stories. I used to get 32s of Miller High Life or 40s of Mickey's Big Mouth, and then take them over there. We'd all hang out. And then the other thing is, or they thought I was gay. Like most people there thought I was gay. Like I'd say 80% of the people thought I was gay. And that I was like they had a word for it. That I was like one of the, they had a prison word for it. Yeah, a lot of front yard. We sat on the front yards a lot. And we sat on walls a lot. Oh, stop. Oh, stop. Oh, stop. Was it Jeremy, was it because you kept trying to touch their hogs? Oh, I didn't do a lot of Old English. Occasionally. This is going to be really snobbery around malt liquor. I didn't like Old English. It was fucking disgusting. What was the other one? Was there one called Magnum? There was Colt 45 or Magnum. There were some fucking gnarly malt liquors. Bit. I never heard that bit. I was their bit. King Cobra. Yeah. Oh yeah, King Cobra. Here's the dilemma with this account. This is most likely a man. Hello to my boobs. Oh, this is such a weird landscape. Colt 45. Yeah. King Cobra, Old English. Steel Reserve. I don't know if I remember that one. I really liked Mickey's Big Mouth. The weird thing about the boobs account is it's probably a dude. And that really bums me out. But no chick would actually do that. Oh, that would be so interesting if it was Wooly. Wouldn't that be fascinating? Someone broke him down the other day to me. I don't know if this is someone was like, "Hey dude, you know what's going on?" And I go, "No, what?" And he goes, "Dude, he can't figure out why he has all this influence, he has all these followers, he has all this blah blah blah. He has all these connections and he can't get into the cool kids club." I'm like, "What's the cool kids club?" He's like, "Just like hanging out in the chat." Like he can't for the life, and he knows he's smart and he knows he's a nice guy, but he just can't figure out how to just chill and hang. I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting take." If that really was him, that's like a great entry point. Wow. And the dumper that goes with the hammers is legit too. That's cool. Yeah, you don't want to be lopsided. Another thing I heard, and I at first I didn't believe this, but I really do believe it. All that ESG shit and all the stuff all these top corporate guys are doing, and in the way it was influencing, that so many of these men who are running these companies and the couple of women, that they're influenced by their kids who go to college. So their kids go to college and they come back and they're saying all this shit to their parents, and their parents are influenced by it, and their parents want to embrace it. And so a lot of that stuff is like that. And I think Wooly has a couple like daughters who are of the college age, and I think they got all the piercings and all that shit. And so maybe they've influenced him too. And the fact that he's around two women that he feels, and maybe he has, women in his life who are in that phase where they're like doing the women empowerment thing, and they're trained at school to play the victim. Maybe there's some drip down to him for that, where he has to play that role for that, the victim role for that. I don't know. Yeah, someone should make a I I really want a dump truck hottie shirt. Dump truck hotties. I wish I was the kind of, you know how there's some guys who are just really comfortable just wearing like hot chicks on their shirts and shit. I was never that guy. I don't know what this means. He's a drip. Did Wooly strike a chord with you? I'm kind of surprised. What? Oh, I don't know what you mean by a chord. What does that mean? A chord? Can I look that up? A chord? Isn't like a chord like something in music? A chord definition. Like play a chord. It's like when my kid, like I hear my kid learning chords. Like you push a bunch of keys at once and it's a chord. Flexible string or rope attached to a cord. Oh, maybe I have to. It's a phrase. It's like a strike a chord definition. To cause someone to feel emotional response such as sympathy or pleasure. I don't know if sympathies. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I don't know if sympathy is the right word. I think I'll give it this. I think that I don't. Okay, I don't really want to say this part out loud. If you don't like me, will you go away now? I'm going to tell you something. Maybe some of you leave if you don't like me. I don't want to say this stuff to people who don't like me. A drip is a person that's boring person without strong character. So currently playing A minor to Sevon is currently playing A minor to Wooly. Oh wait, did someone define chord for me? Did I you push one of your buttons to get under your skin. No, I think I think maybe I played a chord on myself. Here's the deal. I think of this podcast as just a tiny little podcast. And I will speak bravado to you guys and be like, it's the biggest podcast in the space and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, it does not get it's the biggest little podcast. It's tiny. I don't think of it as having, I just think it's just a really tight knit community, but I just think that we're small. I don't perceive us as, you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to sway a fucking election. And we really like the people that come on and we're cool and it's authentic and we're passionate. So people get a lot of energy here and there's so much friction, right? So if you like friction, if you like group hugs and tussling and wrestling, this is the spot for you. This is you know what I mean? We're the people at the fucking hippie party who dance, who do the spinning dancing and rub on each other or we're the mosh pit. You know what I mean? Where we just swing around and so I think sometimes I say things on here without realizing the implications of how it may affect other people. And that I'm not saying that that's wrong, that that's a good thing or bad thing. But then if someone gets I don't want any, if you're stuck thinking about something all day that you heard on this podcast, I want it to be hey, where was I before I was born? Where was I after I was dead? Or how can I treat my mom better? Or if Sevon can do those squats, I sure as fuck can do them. Or I don't want someone to leave here being and I know it's out of my control. I know I don't have control over it, but I don't want someone leaving here it's not that I don't want it. I just wish that there would be a net benefit. And so if someone watches the podcast and then something is said on here and then for a week you're reeling about it in a negative way, I mean, other people can say that shit. I don't want to necessarily do it. I would rather if we made fun of you, you when people make fun of me, I feel I take it as a compliment 99.99% of the time. Like, I just throw it in the bucket of they're thinking about me. And that's cool. That's good for me. I like that. For some reason, that makes me feel good. Brady, if someone leaves the show being offended, they're soft. I don't know. So, I mean, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe there's some things that are like, so like the thing. It's like Joel was saying earlier. Like, if you're a parent, you could be devastated if you had a disabled kid because you love this kid so much and you don't want the kid to have like hardship. Like, for those of us who don't have disabled kids, it's like, when your kid's injured, it like fucking is hard, or your kid's sick. And so some people may have not gone through the phases of evolved enough to get past that pain and just be like, hey, I'm just going to accept this kid for just like really who they are. And so then you realize, hey, actually the best environment would be the Sevon podcast or those people because they don't give a shit. This is the group of people. Listen, this is the group of people where if we were all at a party together and I got so fucking drunk that I was throwing up and shit all over myself, I know 3 dudes would pick me up, undress me, throw me in the bathtub, wash me off, and throw me in bed. And I know that's not like that. Hopefully it'd be 3 chicks, but I know it wouldn't be. But you know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. That's it. Okay, people, if you don't like me, you can come back to the show now. That's all I want to say. It's like this Muslim lady DM me the other day, and she's like, "Hey, dude, I love your show, and you're fucking hating on Muslims." And like, it's like, fuck, dude. And I thought when I watched that bit, I laughed so hard when I said that on the podcast. Because it's like, I was being I just like the juxtaposition of me being so serious. And Wooly wants to do a competition and he wants me to donate $500 to the class. And I just thought, I thought I was being funny as shit. And I still do. Pat, you're going to love this. Pat Lang, you are absolutely going to love this. You are going to love this. So for those of you who don't know, there's a country called France, and some people think that the next CEO of CrossFit lives in France, Daniel Chafee, but that's besides the point. And France has a leader there named Macron, something Macron, Joe Macron, Carl Macron. Macron. They call him Macron. What's I don't know what's his first name? John Macron? Emmanuel Macron. Is it Emmanuel? Emmanuel. He got a Mexican first name? Isn't that Emmanuel Macron? Oh no. His wife's a tranny. Oh, you just wait. Anyway, his wife is 39 years old, and when his wife was 39 years old, she divorced her husband and started fucking Macron when he was 15. She was more than double his age. He's a 15-year-old kid, and a 39-year-old woman divorced her husband and started fucking him. Emmanuel is Jewish. Oh, he's a Jew? Oh, he kind of got that beta Jew vibe. It sucks how many beta Jews there are. My sons are not going to be betas. They're going to rebel and be betas, huh? Anyway, it means God with me. Oh, Emmanuel Macron. Oh, that's kind of cool. Emmanuel Macron. George from the porch. Wow, that's a cool name. So it's always been weird, right? Like, you got a pedophile. I mean, there's pedophiles everywhere, right? I mean, like in San Francisco, there was a guy named Milk, and he was killed when he was on Harvey Milk, and he was a pedophile, and he's like a fucking state hero in California because he was like the first gay guy to sit on openly gay guy to sit on a city board or something. But what the truth is you look into him and he's a hardcore pedophile. It's like they didn't even hide it. Just like Macron doesn't hide it, that he was groomed and fucked by a 39-year-old. And so Macron, so okay, so just bear with me. So everyone knows that. That's out in the open. No one denies that, right? And maybe I'll show you a picture of let me show you a picture of him. Macron, a wife. Let me show you a picture of his wife. Let me see if I can find a picture of her. French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife. His wife is very trippy looking. I mean, I guess you could say she's like, I guess you could say she's crazy. I mean, I don't know if you guys can say it, but if she's a tranny and she's 70 years old, she's hot as shit, right? Here she is. Wow, they have the exact same eyes and same lips and cheek structure. God, they look so much alike. Anyway, that's him. Okay. There's this news lady that, I mean, you'll have to ask Pat Lang, that I think's pretty reputable, but she says some pretty wild shit, named Candace Owens. Hot black chick. Smart as fuck. Anyway, listen to this. This is crazy.
Actually don't even know how to process this. I've been watching Candace Owens and she's been deep diving into this insane conspiracy about the French president, and it's unreal. So here's the deal. Candace Owens believes, she knows that the French president is married to a trans woman.
Okay, you got that? So Candace thinks that Candace knows that not only is the wife of the president of France double his age or whatever the fuck it is now, 25 years older, 24 years older, that it's also a dude. Like, she's uncovered that that's a dude.
And not just any trans woman, but his own father. His father. I know that it sounds insane, but this woman has been researching for over a year to prove that. And if you don't feel like watching all the videos, I'm going to break down the three major.
Whoa, look at this chick. This is the first time I've noticed her tits in the video. Look at her tits in the video. I never noticed that before. You think she knows her tits are in the video? Yeah, when girls' tits are in the video, they know, right? How does Candace know? I don't know. There's like a 2-hour podcast about it. I think there's like tons of podcasts where she uncovers the evidence, but we're going to find out. But like, hey, dude, I don't believe or disbelieve this, but I believe it's more possible than the earth being flat. I will tell you that.
Major pieces of evidence that she has, but here's the backstory. Emmanuel Macron is the president of France, and his wife is Brigitte. She was allegedly a former school teacher. So here's evidence number one. So Candace dug up old records and found that there's actually no trace of this woman, no birth certificate, nothing. And even her school years didn't add up. Students say they never heard of her. Records are missing, and there's zero trace of a young Brigitte. Which brings me to piece of evidence number two, where things get even crazier. Candace found an old article from the 70s about Macron's father, talking about how he disappeared for a period of time, only to return looking different. And old family photos show Macron's father at the time, after he reemerged after being gone, to have strange resemblance of Brigitte, Macron's current wife. But at that time, he was presenting as a man. Basically, the theory is this. Macron's father legally and physically transitioned into Brigitte, and then later they fell in love with their own son and married him. And because they're so powerful, the entire story was just wiped clean until now. And Candace Owens is just getting savage. She's not holding back at all. Meanwhile, Macron's team is just scrambling to do damage control. Reports even claim that the French press has been warned not to even touch the story. Honestly, I don't even know what to do with this information. My brain is freaking melting because if this is true, if this is even half true, this would be one of the biggest political cover-ups in history. I am not okay.
Well, I don't think that's true. It's not even a political cover-up at all. It's just a... So Macron's wife is John Woolley. Oh my God. Why are conservatives fixated on claims that wives of world leaders are men? Is it some kind of insecurity? Maybe. Candace also says Obama is gay, and her proof is a huge drug addict who said he fucked Obama. His wife has huge hands. I knew you'd love that story, Pat. You throw that. Pat has this arsenal of things that just make it. He's like, you post so much fake shit. Just throw this in that pile, Pat. You can like wait 6 months and then you can beat me with this story. You can be like, you dumb fuck. That's great. We need more of that. Playing stories like that is like the U.S. sending money to the Taliban to buy weapons. I just gave them. Oh, wow. That's a great shirt. Wow. Wow. That's a crazy shirt design. Wow, and I like the tattoo on the ass. That is incredible. God, I don't know if I have the balls to wear that. Bob, I bet you Caitlin Clark's hands are huge too. Yeah, this chick, this shirt, this mock shirt drop I got, it's got a tattoo on someone's ass. Ramji, that's a great name too. That's a great picture. Wait to hear the story of the UK PM Prime Minister Nad, his weird family and marriage and kids, but who has injunctions against every media here in UK from revealing the truth. Over to you, Candace. DM me those stories, please. The Prime Minister of the UK is a fucking scumbag of the highest order. Show us the shirt. I cannot. It's a great shirt. I cannot. Maybe tomorrow or the next day or something. Sorry I was late this morning. Let me see. I'm just checking the rumor mill. Oh, Pedro did an interview with Daniel Chafee. Here's what makes me think that Woolley got so butthurt. I mean, obviously the lawyer comment, right? And then the retraction and the denial, and then fucking the website, right? He got a website, and then what he's trying to do, and he's pretty transparent about it. He keeps tagging CrossFit Games or saying I'm affiliated with CrossFit Games, and what he's trying to do there is let CrossFit Games know that and because then they shouldn't be affiliated with me. Like, he's trying to rally allies. Do you know what I mean? He's trying to put social pressure on the CrossFit Games or on CrossFit Inc. that it shouldn't be affiliated with CrossFit. Like someone just sent me something where he tagged CrossFit Games like 20 times in the post or something. And so like that's wounded. That's wounded, right? That's like he's back to tattletaling. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to tattletale to whoever's running CrossFit. I mean, he got wounded. I don't know what Haley would think of that shirt. What would Jesus think of that shirt? Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. By the way, thanks for the correction on the spelling. I was spelling it Yahwe, and people were letting me know it has an H at the end. Yahweh. Yahweh. I got this definition yesterday. My takeaway from yesterday after talking to so many people after the podcast, I got this definition of faith. And faith, I like this definition of faith. Faith is is evidence of the unseen. Evidence of the unseen. Evidence of the unseen. Yahweh. Yeah, Yahweh Yeehaw. That's good, Jeff. I'm a little slow to pull up comments because my wireless mouse stopped working in the middle of the show, so I'm using a corded mouse. Bet you haven't seen one of those in a while. He's doing it to impress the woke chicks around him. He's white knighting and you're not handling it well. You need to rethink your strategy. Let's chat. Take over for you. I'm not handling it well. They're saying he's not handling it well and I need to rethink my strategy. I don't even have a strategy. My strategy is that I'm just expressing to you that I don't think I don't think I like it how if he got wounded. I don't like it that he got wounded. You know what I mean? It's like imagine like you're trying to build a house with nails and you break your finger, the hammer hits your finger. It's like that. I don't like it that my finger got hit or that someone's finger got hit. I don't know if I understood you correctly, Clock. Do I think I could beat up John Woolley? I'd have to say, I don't think so. Is he big? I don't know. I don't know. I'm very fucking coordinated. I'm like crazy coordinated. Like you can wake me up at 5 a.m. I can juggle balls. Once I'm warmed up, I can run fast. I can move. I can throw. I can catch. I'm crazy coordinated, but I don't know. I'm good at wrestling. For someone who has no formal training, I don't know. I'm old, but I'm a fucking handful. And I'm crazy. I mean, you guys seen it. I'm crazy coordinated. You definitely can't beat him in the open because you didn't accept his challenge. Kind of bitchy, dude. Not only did I not accept his challenge, my back is fucked up and he's way fitter than me. Maybe if it goes past 30 seconds, he beats me up. I wouldn't know who Wooly was if you didn't talk about him, and I wouldn't know who Sporty Beth is if Hiller didn't talk about her. Yeah, I don't have a problem with people knowing who he is. I enjoy this part of the show, me processing stuff, and it's just we're just keeping a good narrative going for the show. We need narratives. Do you remember when we used to have a great narrative? Remember when Jeremy would date liberal chicks and he would call in once a week and tell us how it was going? Oh, Wooly is fit. Yeah, he looks fit as shit. I don't know. You shouldn't let me off the hook. The back thing sucks. Nothing you could do. I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't mind being just called a pussy. Dom really annoyed me yesterday. He was so combative and his constant Bible citing just came off as closed-minded to me. Dude, are you kidding me? I love the Jeremy stories. Audrey's saying that no one cares. I totally care. I love all the threads. I like all the narratives. Bob, okay, you're a pussy. Okay, this is bad. When I'm interacting with the comments this closely, it's bad. That means I know the show's almost over. I love rich people, but this is stupid. Oh, Flat Earth. Okay, here we go. Another one. This has just become the Pat Lang show. Listen, if anyone lives rent-free in my head, it's Pat Lang. So no one ever there's no room for anyone else in my head besides Pat. So the rest of you guys can fuck off. Okay, here we go. This is good. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. Everyone else, it's just the me and Pat show. Sevon and Pat Lang show. Here we go.
News, an American pastor named Will Duffy took 4 of the most prominent flat Earth conspiracy theorists to Antarctica to prove the Earth is a globe in a final experiment. But then this happened.
I'll turn it over to the flat Earthers. Who would like to go first? One of the most popular flat Earth YouTube channels. Sometimes you are wrong in life, and I thought that there was no 24-hour sun. In fact, I was pretty sure of it. But I respect Will Duffy for being a stand-up guy, at least in the way that he kept saying it was true. I kept saying it wasn't. Whoa! He said, "You want to go? I'll take you," and brought me here. And it's a fact. The sun does circle you in the south. So what does that mean? You guys are gonna have to figure that out yourself. I realize that I'll be called a shill for just saying that.
Join me on Discord to talk about it. Breaking news, an American pastor named
Oh my God. I don't even know what that means. There must be some sort of like flat earth theory that because of the way they explain the cosmos, the sun wouldn't circle, be up for 24 hours in the north. But I just love it that he did that. This dude's like, all right, come. And he takes him to the 4 flat earthers to the North Pole and shows them. It's part of the project. It's all by design. I know. I think that they will try to explain it. They're not just going to. They're not just going to let that go. Oh, it's in the South Pole. Yeah, it shows how much I know. All right. Anything else? What I learned yesterday, I'll tell you my takeaway from my takeaway from yesterday for me, selfishly speaking, is although I experience God every day, I experience faith every day. That's the witnessing of the unseen, right? I've accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I've listened to the Bible on tape twice. Listened to the Bible. And there was one other thing. Oh, and I've dedicated more than anyone else I know my life to emulating Jesus. And maybe I know people who've tried to emulate him more than me, but they haven't told me. But that's not enough for me to go to heaven because I don't believe that Jesus was resurrected for our sins or whatever reason he was resurrected. I don't disbelieve it. By the way, I don't disbelieve it. But according to this is what my takeaway from what I learned from Dom yesterday. Even though I experience God, and that's my faith, I witness the evidence of the unseen, the no thing. And I've shared stories with you, like most recently about that. I've accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as my Savior, listened to the Bible, and I've emulated Jesus. I attempt to emulate Jesus. That because I don't believe that he was raised from the dead, or whatever the rest of that statement is, not that I disbelieve it, that I'm not going to heaven. So I'm like 4 out of 5. I'm 4 out of 5. You don't believe that he is, that's the problem. Yeah, but I don't disbelieve it either. Yeah, I don't believe he was resurrected. How the fuck? I don't understand how you could believe that or disbelieve that. Let me rephrase that. I understand how you could disbelieve it because you just have never seen anyone do it, and it sounds a little strange. But I seriously don't understand how anyone could believe that. Stop using word fuckery. Who, me? I'm not using word fuckery if you're talking about me. How can he be your savior if he didn't rise from the dead? The fuck, I don't know. I don't know how any of it works. I have no idea how any of it works. What Christianity requires you to believe about reality is hard to stomach. But I will tell you this, and I say this, I think that the reason why people believe is because they don't have faith. And so I think that somehow I think God has shown himself too much of himself to me, that I have just such crazy faith. And I think I'm just I think it's like hard for people. It's like all of these ideas of like forgiveness, or there's so many worldly things that people play with, that like or stealing. Like I already accept the fact that I don't own anything. And I accept that I'm responsible. Anyone that I need to forgive, it's because I've made up a story that they've hurt me. And so there's all of these things that I think a lot of Christians have not transcended, that I just don't have to deal with because I have faith. Caller, hi.
What's up, dude?
What's up, dude?
Hey, so this is coming from a perspective of someone who's not necessarily a believer, but like I went to are you familiar with Valley Christian High School?
What city?
San Jose.
You have one of the best senses of humor of anyone I've ever met in my life, by the way. No, I don't know that school. They have a good do they have a good football team?
Oh, dude, phenomenal football team.
Yeah.
But that's where I went to high school. I went to high school to Valley Christian. It's like in the same like group of schools as like Midi, St. Francis, Bellarmine, those schools and shit.
Yeah, what's the one in Fremont that had the good football team up on the hill? Or
De La Salle?
No, that one was in my neighborhood. That one was in Concord. What was the one? There's another Christian school up there. Anyway,
Maybe you're thinking of mine.
Okay, maybe it was.
But it wasn't in Fremont because my school is on a hill. It looks like a really nice prison.
Okay.
But anyway, so like I kind of come from a perspective of like I don't necessarily believe, but I was exposed to it a lot. And I understand the concept of it and the importance of like certain aspects such as the resurrection.
Yeah, tell me.
And I think I can't quite comprehend what it is about the resurrection that you don't understand, because it's literally the most vital, important part.
Okay, so you don't understand what I don't understand.
Correct.
Is that
because
okay, so let's go here real quick, and I'll help you, because I need someone to understand what I don't understand, so they can unexplain it to me. So okay, so how is his dying? Is it as simple as just like how I don't understand the connection between him dying. So first of all, I guess I have to accept the fact that I'm sinning. So let's say there's all these things that are sinning, right? So we're going to accept that presupposition, right? That there's things that are
Correct.
sinning. Okay. And then he came here, and so that how does his dying alleviate me of my sins? I don't see the trade-off. Like you could see if you came to my house with a soccer ball and I gave you a football and we traded, I see it, right? I see the exchange. I don't see the exchange. Like I when you say he died for my sins, you're also saying that he died for my sins to absolve me of them. I just don't get how that works at all. I don't understand the mechanism for it, or the emotion, or even if it's like it's not, there's not some physical mechanism for it. I don't understand the emotional, the intellectual. I don't understand the spiritual. I don't get any of it.
So I guess the easiest way to kind of put it in layman's terms is like, let's say I don't know, let's say like you go and rob a bank, right?
Yeah.
And you're put on trial because you were caught, and everyone knows you committed a crime, and the crime, and there's a punishment that comes with the crime.
Okay.
But then at the very last second before the juror or judge gives you your sentence and tells you your punishment, someone walks into the room and shouts out, "Hey, I'll take the punishment for him. I'll absolve this man of his crime." That's pretty much essentially what Jesus' role was.
So like if I owed someone a debt, he paid it for me.
Correct.
Yeah,
And then he,
I don't understand how that would. I get it. Okay, so I get it. I just still don't understand how it works spiritually. And hey, dude, and here's
it's because
the
there's
crazy
a
thing.
separation.
Go ahead.
It's because there's a separation when sin was introduced into the world, right? So if you go back to the book of Genesis, Adam and Eve were frolicking along in the garden, and God was literally there. God was literally walking among them in their presence because there was no sin in the world, right? Adam and Eve, they were completely naive to the fact that they were naked, any of that. They didn't understand shame. They didn't understand any of that because sin didn't exist in the world yet. And then here comes the snake coming along and tempts them into eating the fruit that God basically told them, like, hey, don't eat from this tree, because I think I forget the significance of it. I think it was something about like the tree of like knowledge or something like that, where as soon as you ate the fruit, you would understand all the wrongdoings of the world or some shit like that.
Okay.
So the snake convinces Adam and
I'm following.
yeah. So all while this is happening, God is literally in their presence. He's able to walk among them, hang out with Adam and Eve, talk to him every day. And then the snake convinces Eve to eat the apple and give an apple to Adam to eat as well. As soon as that happens, sin is introduced into the world. And all of a sudden, they realize they're naked, and then they realize that they can't see God anymore because God cannot be around the presence of sin. So as soon as sin was introduced into the world, whatever bridge that we had between us and God was immediately broken.
Okay.
So for the longest time, if you go through the Old Testament, in order for us to reconnect with God, every so often, I believe the Jews had to do some sort of like goat or animal sacrifice to absolve themselves from the sin. And that would create, I guess, theoretically, a temporary bridge between them and God. But then fast forward to the New Testament, here comes Jesus, who's basically God in the flesh, comes down and says, hey, I'm going to be that permanent bridge. No more do you guys have to sacrifice goats, animals, or lambs. If you just believe who I am, that I am God, that I can defeat death, I'm going to go ahead, get crucified, and I'm going to defeat death, and I'm going to rise from the dead and show you guys that I'm a God. And then if you believe me as your savior, that permanent bridge now between you and God, you can walk through that. But the significance of the resurrection,
I can see it.
There's the significance of the resurrection is the fact that, hey, he proved who he was. That's why the Jews hated him so much, because even though he was the king of Jews, they didn't believe who he was. They didn't believe that he was actually God. And he would say, quote, blasphemous things like, before Abraham was, I am, which is basically saying, hey, before even Abraham ever existed, I was around. Basically claiming that he was God. That's what made the Jews so fucking angry and demanded that they release with that fucking, there was like a murderer and rapist that they demanded to be released out of prison, and Jesus taken instead to go get crucified. Because he kept claiming that he was God. And then if he never resurrected 3 days later, then it would have been all of fucking, okay, I guess that guy really wasn't God. He really wasn't who he said he was going to be. That's why it's so significant.
Hey, I'm going to tell you how I see it from what you said. By the way, thank you so much. What a ray of light you are. What a great picture you. I was just like listening to you and like in like, you know, I was interpreting what you were saying, because the word sin to me is like one that I don't have a strong grasp on the meaning of it, but I can see how if they ate the apple that it made them worldly.
Correct. That's exactly my point.
So I would say that like they ate the apple and it made them worldly. It's like you know, there's these books called the Don Juan series. I don't know if you know them. It's old series about a guy, UCLA student, who went down. Some people say it's not true, but he went down to Mexico and started having all of these experiences with all of these Native Americans. And basically there was this, I remember there was this one chapter, I'm going to kind of fuck it up, but that you have to be careful when you're lucid dreaming, because if you indulge too much in dreams, you can get stuck in the dream state. the dream world and not come back. There's like, I'm not explaining it well, but I could totally see that God makes this planet. There's these spirits here. You indulge in the world and you get trapped here, right? You're now of the world. You partake, right? It's like putting on virtual reality glasses and forever getting stuck in virtual reality. And
yeah, and God can't be around worldly shit, which is why there's this separation now because of sin.
So yeah. So you eat the apple and you get stuck in, and then this guy comes along and he's saying, hey, if you want to get out of this virtual reality and you want to get back to where I'm at, here's a beam of light you can travel through to get out of here. And it is in the form of Jesus Christ. That being said, it just brings me back to my whole thing, believing in him as opposed to knowing him. It sounds like a psyop to me.
Well, you got to remember, Jesus.
Like why? Did you follow me on that? Like what? Like everything everything I believe is bullshit. I already know that. I'm very strongly aware that everything I believe is bullshit. Not in a bad way, but it just is. Like everything is.
I get what you're saying.
So why wouldn't you spend your life trying to experience God instead of believing God? It seems a little weird to me. Back to point A.
I mean,
but I like the story. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's telling you to not experience God, but it's not enough to just experience God when in the Bible. I mean, if you truly like are a Christian, then I would argue, hey, you gotta believe in the Bible. You can't interpret the Bible around your beliefs. You got to interpret your beliefs around the Bible. Jesus literally says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So if it's one thing to just experience God, but it's not enough.
But you could know that. Let's say that is true. Then believing in Jesus isn't going to get you that. That's not going to. You can't just believe something and it's a reality. You have to know it. Do you know what I'm saying? How is believing it going to get you to that point?
I think you're thinking of it in too much of a worldly way. It's the spiritual idea of that, like, hey, I am accepting without written fact or hard evidence that Jesus did come down from the heavens, sacrificed himself on the cross, defeated death 3 days later, and is the savior of my life. It's like I think you're thinking of it too much in a I don't know what the word for it is, but it's this spiritual acceptance that Jesus actually was who he was and did what he did that builds whatever theoretical spiritual bridge there is between us and heaven.
All right. I hear you. Well,
and I hear what you're saying too, because it's one of the reasons why I struggle with the idea of religion. Like I was kind of reading through some of the comments here and like, did a snake really fucking talk to Adam and Eve? Was there really a fucking...
God, that shit is so fucking stupid. I mean, to me, to where I'm at, none of that shit matters to me. I can accept all of that. Do you know what I mean? I can accept the earth is 6,000 years old. Like all of that to me is just a worldly talk. Like I don't give a sorry, I'm not yelling at you, pool boy. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I'm not like I'm convinced. I have faith. I see the best part of the day is seeing evidence of the unseen, right?
Yeah.
That's like, you know what I mean? Like just seeing the glory, right? Whether it's a fucking water, glistening off a blade of grass, or the synchronicity of someone you thinking, God, I wish I had a cup of coffee. I had time to break for a cup of coffee, and someone walks in and hands you one. You know what I mean? You just seeing that constantly in your life is the evidence, right? You're just constantly there, right? And did you hear the story of the people who came to my door and read me Matthew, the anxious thing? Did you hear that story the other day?
No.
If you didn't hear that story about the people who came to my gate during and read, basically I was watching The Chosen. They were Jesus was rehearsing Matthew, And then these people came to my gate, and I live in an area where there's no foot traffic. For 8 years, no one's ever come to my door. I walk out of my house, my kid's getting ready to go to jiu-jitsu, and this old man and this pretty woman are at the door at my gate. And I open the gate, and I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? And they're like, hey, we know these times are really anxious times, and people are fucking stressed out. So, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not stressed out at all. Like, what the fuck are they talking about? But they're spreading the good word, and I like that. You know what I mean? So I'm just being patient and breathing and giving them my full attention. And then they go, can we read a little Bible scripture to you? I said, sure. So they read me Matthew 4, the thing about being anxious in these times, right? And I said, thank you. And they leave. And as I'm walking to my car, someone sends me a text that says, hey, John Woolley's about to sue you. He just made a post for your Kill Taylor episode. And then there's this other Bible scripture that says, hey, God knows what you need before it happens to you. So the night before I was watching The Chosen, there was that scripture from Matthew 4, the anxious one. Then 12 hours later, there's someone at my gate. And then all of a sudden I'm feeling anxious because John Woolley's going to sue me, right? And I start just fucking dying laughing because there it is. Like, that's my whole fucking life is like that, right? And so,
Yeah.
And so, my point being is there's evidence fucking everywhere. I don't need any more fucking evidence. I don't care about no one's gonna convince me I don't need worldly explanations. Although that being said, I really did appreciate your explanation of the sin thing. You know what I mean?
I think what made it
thing. Like, I really did like that. Even though it's a worldly explanation, I can sort of like. It's good for me to at least. To be honest with you, what you said is so simple to me that I didn't even think it was that simple. Now I kind of get it, and I'm like, now it makes it even harder for me to believe that other people believe that. And when people say they believe that in their heart, that's a bizarre thing to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I struggle with too. But I think that's what the disconnect was between you and like Dom yesterday, because Dom would just immediately go straight to the Bible and start reading scripture, which is cool. I get it, but like, I'm an idiot. I'm just
and trying to convince me that Jesus is real. Like, I don't need that.
You don't need to be convinced that. Why? I mean, I think it's pretty important that Jesus is real to know if Jesus is real or not.
How come? I mean, not to me, it's not. But how come to you?
Because then, if Jesus wasn't real, based on this book that's claiming he was real, how do I know everything else is fucking real?
I don't. I accept the fact that I don't know what's real or not. So I'm happy to entertain. I'm happy to like, I don't know if Abraham Lincoln is real. But if you give me no, but if you give me $1 million and say, hey, you got to bet one way or another, I'm going to go with he is real. But like, I don't know if he's real. I know that I'm talking to you right now.
Are you sure?
I mean, I'd throw it in the I know camp and not the I believe camp. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Like, I believe that Abraham Lincoln was real. I believe that Jesus was real.
Well, there you go. I think one would say this God's trying to talk to you the last few days.
And I know, what do you mean the last few days? My whole life. And then there's evidence, and I do know that there's evidence of the unseen. I don't have to believe that. I don't have to believe in God. I'm like so fortunate. I know I live in the evidence of the unseen. I live in faith. Faith, and then people be like, faith in what? And it's like, how the fuck would I know? How the fuck would I know? And that's where people start believing and making up stories, because it's so fucking scary for some people to walk with faith. And I get it. It's fucking like ghosts and shit. You know what I mean? Even though I don't believe in ghosts.
Yeah, it's like walking around with a blindfold on.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. That's where I'm at. But hey, dude, you are now my rabbi Poolboy. Thank you.
That's what I'm here for. And I forgive you for not because I know it would be the godly way, for not sending in my submission with Castro.
I loved your fucking DM or text, however you sent that to me. That was so funny, dude. You were so good, dude.
I appreciate it, man.
You were the glue. You were the glue for the show. That was like the only one that was like plausible, right? I mean, all the others were just like. Did you ever see that show? That show is crazy.
Oh, dude, yeah, I was. My girlfriend was getting upset with me because we were competing that weekend actually in South Carolina, and she wanted to go to bed, but I was like, nah, I want to fucking watch this. I want to see if I win. I want to see if I win. And she literally goes, babe, everyone fucked up the submission. Of course you're gonna win. No one even did it right.
Yours was
you're
good
probably right.
though. You did not win by you. So she's right. You would have won by default, but yours was good, dude. I had my hair blown back.
Thanks. I owe Katie Hogan a thank you.
Yeah, that was good. But then I
Yeah, she had no
realized
idea.
I realized it yesterday when I was watching Dave's weekend review, or 2 days ago. I'm like, oh fuck, I never submitted those.
Yeah, I was laughing pretty hard when I saw that, because it's like, you know, people are kind of like texting me, bugging me, like, hey man, do you know if you won? Or are you the special guest for the mayhem thing? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. And then I saw that and I was fucking just dying laughing. I was like, this son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's good. All right, buddy. I love you. Thank you.
All right, love you too, brother. Rub one out for me later.
Okay. No, I'm not doing that anymore.
No?
No, I'm going to just force my wife to like.
I'm going to force
Yeah, I'm just going to force her. Just force her. Yeah, I'm just going to force her. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Hey, you know why I'm not going to do it? All right, fine. No one will ever know. All right. All right, I got to go. That was fun. Thank you. Holy crap, this show is long. All right. What can someone really know? Yeah. There you go. That's the whole thing. Predictive value. Prediction. Your wife could be out right now just getting fucking gangbanged by a bunch of fucking Pakistani dudes. You don't even know, and enjoying it. You never know. You don't know. Just trust. Prediction. Although the irony is, if there's one thing that I do know more than anything else, is that there is the unknown. And for some cool reason, that's why I'm the coolest dude you all know. I get to hang out in that space all day, every day. Love you guys.